we speak. We were talking earlier a little bit about, hey, it's a couple minor leaguers on this defense core, maybe 50% comprised as guys who could be easily, it's a couple minor leaguers on this defense core, maybe 50% comprised as guys who could be easily in the American Hockey League right now, but they're keeping their heads above water. Is that we understated what they could do a little bit, or does Sheldon Keefe deserve a lot of credit for getting this defensive core, which is undermanned, playing at a pretty decent level?
I like that term, heads above water. I really like that, Justin, and because I think that's it. Because, again, let's face it, the Leafs are among those teams that game number 83 is what we're talking about, even though we're talking about tonight's game in the regular season. And if and when you get to the playoffs, you can play four defensemen like 53 minutes, right, and try to sneak on Timo Timonen like the Blackhawks did all those years ago. Play four defensemen like 53 minutes, right, and try to sneak on Timo Timonen like the Blackhawks did all those years ago for an offensive zone faceoff. So the depth won't be as needed in the playoffs when it comes. But on the other side, I last year, when all their guys were hurt, including Justin Hull, who's kind of got maligned because the way things ended, the guys really stood up. There was a stretch where you had, the top 3D, Morgan Riley and company were injured, and the guys stood up. And in this case, you got to go deeper. You got to go with names that people hardly really knew. Leaf fans hardly really knew. And to your point, they're keeping their head above water. So that's a positive right now. But the other thing is what we started with. They're keeping their head above water. So that's a positive right now. But the other thing is what we started with, about a defenseman or two is going to be a must. And let's face it, Brad Treliving knows that. We know it. And that's something as heading to the playoffs, as long as you're in a playoff spot relatively comfortably, you don't need to panic. But heading in there, that's priority number one.
Last one for you, Gord. We appreciate your time. Joseph Woll getting the start again tonight. Ilya Samsonov out with a little bit of an illness, so he obviously gets the start. With that being said, 4 in a row, he has been absolutely lights out in that crease. Feels like we've had this conversation a few times, like who's going to steal the net, who isn't. But Joseph Woll's being a massive point of a few times, like who's going to steal the net, who isn't. But Joseph Woll's being a massive point of confidence for the Maple Leafs has been a part of this little streak that they're on themselves.
Ayla, she's the guy. And I'll tell you, a funny one was down covering for the Fan at the, when Austin Matthews got picked first overall on the Friday night in Buffalo. It was like a rock concert because everyone knew. It was off the charts. It was great. So the next day you got the next rounds. And you're trying to cover, and everyone's all. Thank God I got Sam Cosentino because he could kind of make sense as bang, 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 bang. Everybody goes, and the Leaf PR brought around this guy, who they picked in the third round, a guy named Joseph Woll. And you know what? He was I was very impressed by him. And so I've always had that kind of memory. Picked in the third round, a guy named Joseph Woll. And you know what? I was very impressed by him. And so I've always had that kind of memory about, first impressions. I'm big on first impressions. He's the guy. The first goaltender they've developed from within since Felix Potvin. People say, what do you think of the Leaf goaltending? It's fine. He's not yet quite Jake Ottinger, for example, but he's trending, stay healthy in that direction. So they're fine. They're fine as far as Joseph Woll goes.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see him back in net. He's a really nice, steady presence, too. Very calming, not to, cross-reference him with Samsonov, but there's just something about watching Joseph Woll that gives you, a level of ease, specifically for a young guy, too. So that's a great trait to have. Gord, we really appreciate your time tonight. Lovely to chat. Gives you, a level of ease, specifically for a young guy, too. So that's a great trait to have. Gord, we really appreciate your time tonight. Lovely to chat. And enjoy some great hockey tonight.
Yeah, is that what Justin's like, a calming presence for you, Ailish? Is that it?
Yes, he is. Yeah. Very calming.
He's the Joseph Woll.
He's the Joseph Woll. Okay. I hope that I'm not like the Ilya Samsonov scrambled eggs at times, but, you got to have two different personalities to make it work, right?
I'm not giving Boston any credit, but we hope to be Ullmark and Swayman.
That'd be great. Right? That'd be so good. All right, Gord, thanks so much, buddy. Enjoy your night.
Okay, you enjoy the game. Take care.
Thanks so much. Gord Stellick, former Leafs GM and Of course, Sirius XM NHL Radio. You're speaking of the Bruins goaltending duo. Allmark's pads tonight. Oh, can you see him? I think he might have skated off already. Speaking of the Bruins goaltending duo. Allmark's pads tonight. Oh, can you see him? I think he might have skated off already. They are amazing. He's got the vintage brown look. Like, I love when a goalie does that. It's just nice. It's a nice switch. And Boston has the colors. They got the beautiful, like, kind of cream, old-school Bruin jerseys on tonight. It looks pretty good. Ullmark and Swayman are just dynamic duo. One could only dream to be as good as them one day, eh, Justin?
Yeah, that's the goal, I think. I mean, that might be the goal for every NHL team now. I mean, obviously you want two good goaltenders, but these are both guys who could fight for a Vezina trophy if given maybe more of an opportunity to. Of course, Linus Ullmark won last year, but Swayman, if he was in a starting role, maybe that would take away from him a little bit, or maybe he's just maybe more of an opportunity to. Of course, Linus Ullmark won last year, but Swayman, if he was in a starting role, maybe that would take away from him a little bit, or maybe he's just a truly elite goaltender that can get it done with any team or with any sort of workload. Let's quickly do the lines here for the Maple Leafs before we go to break. Kind of as expected, top line, Matthew Nyes, Austin Matthews, and William Nylander. Tyler Bertuzzi, John Tavares, Mitch Marner, Robertson, Domi, Yarncroke, Gregor, Camp, and, of course, Ryan Reeves. And then we got Riley, Brody, Lagesson, McCabe, Simone Benoit, and Connor Timmins. Countering for the Boston Bruins, Marchand, Poitras, Heinen.
That Poitras guy has been dynamite, eh? For a rookie, too?
They have
top-line center.
Only the Chicago Blackhawks have more goals from rookies this year.
And who do they have
the Boston
again?
Bruins. Boston Bruins have been the top of the league forever. You're not supposed to get rookies
it's
or
not
impact
fair.
rookies, but they're getting a lot of goals from rookies. Poitras, including second line DeBrusk, Zaka, Pasternak, JVR, Coyle, Frederick,
baby.
Lauko, Geeky, and Steen.
Remember
And then
him?
it's Grzelcyk, McAvoy, Lindholm, Carlo, and Forbort and Shattenkirk.
Okay, I know we have to take a break in about 2 minutes, but I think we found the solution to our question.
Okay.
Our Mitch Marner, 3 goals and a shootout. Dan from Hamilton might have just solidified something. Get to trademark patent pending, okay? Mitch Marner's hat trick plus shootout goal should be called the sidecar. When I was a bartender, you could order a full pint of beer with a sidecar, which meant the full pint of beer came with a little extra shot on the side. Marner hat trick is the full pint, and the shootout goal is the shot. Picture a motorcycle with a little sidecar attached. Incredible. That is it.
I love it. That was it. You had me. You had me at what was it? Full pint.
Full pint.
I could do a sidecar after the show tonight.
You just let's get a sidecar. Hey, Leafs win tonight. We're getting sidecars, eh?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we're into it. I love it. Dan from Hamilton, you killed it. That's a great one. Sorry, we stopped the count, everyone. You can text in, but I don't know if you can beat that one. We got a couple of minutes here before we take a break. Okay, biggest thing that you want to learn from tonight's game?
Biggest thing I want to learn from tonight's game, that you can beat Boston in a regular season game.
How about in regulation, too?
And regulation.
That's asking too much.
And I think that is maybe key, because we kind of teed it up a little bit before. This is a true 4-point game sort of scenario, and only 4 points could separate these two teams if the Maple Leafs can get one in regulation. But a regulation loss the other way, that lead for the Boston Bruins swells to 8, and that's a pretty big lead, even though, we haven't seen the calendar flip to 2024 just yet. The Leafs, this is a big opportunity to close within striking distance. We haven't seen the calendar flip to 2024 just yet. The Leafs, this is a big opportunity to close within striking distance and to get that regulation narrative off their backs against a team like the Boston Bruins would be a major positive, and I guess a learning point.
I'd love to see the Maple Leafs start on time. Come out in that first period, win the first period, play with some intensity, play with some fierceness, because they've had some sleepy starts over the last couple times at home. Then they're just battling their way back. And if you can play 60 minutes, then maybe we don't need to play an extra 5 in a shootout, because you can get ahead early. I know that Sheldon Keefe had said, well, every game means the same to us, right? He's trying not to put the narrative in that you care more about one game over the other. But you should really care about this one tonight. Not to put the narrative in that you care more about one game over the other. But you should really care about this one tonight. It is the Boston Bruins. It is one of the biggest rivalries that you have. have. And this team has had your number for a very long time. So come out and play like that matters, right? You're going to have Ryan Reeves in the lineup. You have the idea that Timothy Liljegren's somewhere in this building, probably in the press box, injured because of a guy on this team. So I'm not asking you to run around and chop someone's head off, but play with some fierceness, right? Tonight is a big one. We're excited to be here for a hockey night in Canada. It's Saturday night. This is what you play for if you're an NHLer.
And I guess if something does happen, we will find out if Ryan Reeves sticks by that promise. He said it won't happen again, right? Mm-hmm. He said that after last time. They've got the opportunity here. We'll see if Brad Marchand behaves himself. But if he doesn't, then I guess the promise will have to be fulfilled.
All right, we'll take a quick break. And on the other side, we'll get ready for Puck Drop. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer for a holiday bonus. And welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master planned community with bike trails, parks, and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com. To move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com. Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. What makes a great gift? Well, I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. A gift they can eat, definitely. And if they like to share, a gift you can eat too. Well, that settles it. Our Great Canadian Meat salami and pepperoni sticks are the perfect gift and a perfect addition to your charcuterie board. Pick up Great Canadian Meat at our store in Whitby or online at greatcanadianmeat.com.
Time to swap that pumpkin spice latte for a peppermint mocha. SiriusXM's modern holiday hits channel, Holly, is back. It's merry, bright, and packed with Christmas favorites.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
Holly.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
Holly. Listen now for a limited time on Channel 79 and on the SiriusXM app. Free with all trials and popular plans.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Brian Burke.
But now it's a big story. Headline, Johnny Gaudreau bench. But he's not playing that well. His stats are terrible, and he's not playing that well. They sat him out. Now, he had the right response. He said, I got to play better. And that's all it is. Same thing here. You're playing poorly, you get benched. Shut up and work harder.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
My boy Brady Tkachuk fired up, said what he wanted to say. I love when a captain comes out like that and sticks up for his team. Listen, the fans of Ottawa, they paid their hard-earned money to get in there. I guess if they want to boo, they can boo. I love Brady sticking up for his guys. But Brady Tkachuk, good for you. Say how you feel. Plays hard on and off the ice. Cooley, I love that kid.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio.
SiriusXM 91.
And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
George McPhee on the Vegas Golden Knights. Give us a sense as to what you and Kelly were thinking in terms of this season's roster.
The team overall is in pretty darn good shape. It's sort of in our prime. This team wants to be some kind of legacy team where you can win a couple of Stanley Cup. That's the challenge that you present to the players.
NHL Morning Skate
With Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellar.
weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
On NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The Points
with Boomer Gordon.
Speaking as someone who grew up an Islander fan, you're not good enough to win now. You've got no prospects for the future, and you're not bad enough to get like the lottery pick. So we're just going to watch the Islanders float in the hockey abyss indefinitely until someone in the organization acknowledges that what they have is broken. And I don't think anyone's going to do that.
Points
with Boomer Gordon.
1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review
with Mick Kerr.
11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Visions.ca. Visions.ca.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
I don't think you can get extra emotion into a game like this. I think, we recognize we're playing against a very good team that's going to demand everything from us, everything that we have. So that's what we're preparing for.
From the Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs hosting the Boston Bruins Hockey Night in Canada. Saturday night, a little old school rivalry, original six. We got the Oregon going tonight. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, as much as Sheldon Keefe wants us to believe that the Maple Leafs' greatest opponent is themselves, tonight it's the Boston.
And tonight it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, as much as Sheldon Keefe wants us to believe that the Maple Leafs' greatest opponent is themselves, tonight it's the Boston Bruins. It's always the Boston Bruins when the Boston Bruins are in town. It does not get better than Toronto in Boston at Scotiabank Arena on a Saturday night, pumped up for this one.
Yeah, Keefe does a good job at like chilling things out a little bit. He's like, you know what, everything's big and everything's good. Like there was a quote from him the other day about the Leafs because he's getting grilled by reporters about you got 5 regulation wins, and he mentioned, well, there's 23 teams below us in the standings right now, and we haven't played our best hockey. So, I mean, that is good perspective. The Leafs have not played their best hockey in a consistent form, right? There's been spurts of it. There's been a game here or there where you go, oh yeah, that's that Leafs team. But, tonight, 4 points are kind of on the table. If the Leafs win this one, they're 4 points behind the Boston Bruins with a game in hand, and they're close to Florida. Like, it's become a 3-team race at the top of the Atlantic, and the Maple Leafs have a big opportunity tonight, and it'd be also sweet to do it in regulation, just to make everyone else happy.
Yeah, it would. And the regulation thing is interesting because regulation wins is definitely like a good earmark on where you are as a team. If you're lagging behind in regulation wins, then you're unable to create those advantages and get to the cross the finish line with that advantage. But I think there is something to be said about it that, yeah, they're not playing their best hockey, and that stuff's going to happen where you just have to grind out some points and stay around and just kind of stick with it and stick around for a little while and get those points and put yourself in a position where when you go out on a run, you still have that foundation to build off from, and you don't have all these teams you have to leapfrog. So I think there's some good and there's some bad, but at a certain point, the Maple Leafs need to rack up some regulation wins or they are going to fall back because they're going to overtime about almost 50% of games. 10 of 21 of their games have been to bonus hockey and an extra frame, and you're just not going to rack up points every single time you get into that scenario. So they got to find ways to get some advantages in regulation. Got to start winning games outright. And again, as you mentioned, they start that tonight, 4 points behind Boston. Florida's still there, but 4 points behind Boston puts you right in the running in the Atlantic Division.
Tonight's a big one, too, in case you like revenge or you like vengeance, because there might be some of it out on the ice tonight. Last time the Leafs played the Bruins, it went to Shootout, classic, but they lost, which isn't a classic. They usually win in those ones lately. But Marchand and Timothy Liljegren got caught up in each other, a slew foot or a push, however you'd like to put it, and Timothy Liljegren hasn't played since. He's been injured. It's affected this blue line significantly. There was no pushback. There was no response in that game, and we talked about it for a very long time after, probably 2 weeks straight, saying that maybe this Maple Leafs team didn't have the grit, the toughness, all the other snot words that we have. But tonight, Ryan Reeves is in the lineup. Brad Marchand is in the lineup. They were taking shots at each other through the media today, saying, wow, this guy chirps me all the time but doesn't drop the gloves. And this guy says that I make more money than him. That's a bad chirp. Anyway, lots have been said. I wonder if there'll be any action tonight.
Yeah, Ryan Reeves was hilarious today, I thought, in his press conference or his scrum around his locker.
It was like a press conference.
It was kind of press conference-like, but he was so adamant to not, give in at all. And then the moment someone said the word Brad Marchand, he just had to take a shot at Marchand. And yeah, he delivered a promise last time saying, hey, if that stuff happens again, we promise there's going to be a different sort of reaction. And I'm not suggesting that Brad Marchand is going to hurt another member of the Toronto Maple Leafs today, although it's very possible. But Brad Marchand is back on the ice against the Maple Leafs, and for that reason, we have a reason to watch Ryan Reeves, to watch number 63 with the Boston Bruins, and to see if anything happens, if there will be the response that everyone's been talking about.
So I want to go through the lines for a second because nothing too different, but we did want to mention a little bit about Tyler Bertuzzi and his new role and how it's significantly, I guess, getting spotlighted here with Maple Leafs.
Yeah, Tyler Bertuzzi had a tough October. He had a brilliant November. He led the Maple Leafs in all underlying stats, 65% expected goals, and it didn't matter who he was playing with. He played mostly with Tavares and Nylander. Tonight he'll play with Tavares and Mitch Marner, and whatever line has included Bertuzzi in this run since November 1st, I guess since the last time they played the Boston Bruins, is worked. So Tyler Bertuzzi may be the common denominator for this team, or the Bertuzzi-Tavares partnership might be something real, might be something special for this group. They could allow Austin Matthews to maybe take a little bit more pressure off, like he has in the last month or so, because Tyler Bertuzzi has been really, really good with just about everyone he's played with.
Mitch Marner riding a high of 4 goals, well, 3 in the regulation, and then 1 in the shootout. We're calling that a sidecar. And so tonight will be an interesting one. I think he might be our player to watch, because tonight's a big game for momentum, and I think that he might be the guy that brings it. This player to watch is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsible. It is Mitch Marner for us tonight because the bubble is working well. He's looking like a different guy out there physically and mentally, I assume, as well. So we're going to think that maybe Mitch Marner continues that streak tonight.
Yeah, big bubble energy. I feel like this is an opportunity for Mitch Marner
bubble energy
to extend a point streak, to extend a hot streak, to make do and make right on feeling good about himself. It's not been a season where Mitch Marner's been particularly exuberant and happy and showing us with his play that he's feeling good about himself. But when he danced in and scored in the shootout, you felt like it was a different Mitch Marner.
What'd you think of
Mitch
those
Marner
moves?
turned the corner. I just know he doesn't do that.
No
if he
chance.
Didn't have. If
3
he hadn't
goals
scored
that game?
already.
No way.
I don't even know if he does it with 2. But Mitch Marner shows you when he feels good. And I think in that bubble, and I think on this run, he's probably feeling pretty good about himself. So I expect Mitch Marner to carry that momentum through, plus 240 anytime goal. I love that tonight.
He hit every edge of every skate. Like, it was like, you know when you do that when you're learning to skate and you do those, it was like figure skating. Like, he looked very elegant out there when he was going down for his shot.
Testing every edge.
He did.
On the way
they were perfectly sharp. So Marner anytime goal plus 240. I like that a lot. It's not often that the Toronto Maple Leafs are actually dogs tonight. They are plus money on the money line, plus 100 to win, plus 140 to win in regulation. So if you think that they're going to win in regulation, folks, you can actually make plus money on it. I think most games that we see the Maple Leafs play, they are favorites. They definitely get a lot of the public love. But tonight, it's a plus money night for the Maple Leafs.
Or if you think it's impossible for the Maple Leafs to create an advantage through 60 minutes of regular time, I mean, they've gone overtime in 10 of 21, as we mentioned. Tie after regulation's plus 300 tonight. Like, if you had just played that every game,
we're going to be here all night, Justin.
You'd be well in the black. So, tie after regulation plus 300. And for those revenge goal scorers, James Van Riemsdyk's back in town. He's been back in town with a different team before this, so it's not as fresh. But in a Boston uniform, plus 280 to score tonight, James Van Riemsdyk.
Okay, so that's your look around with Bet365, your players and other things to watch. Big one in net tonight for Joseph Woll. I mean, the story for the Boston Bruins is, they've continued to do this all season long when they were against all odds, really. I mean, I had them not even making the playoffs. That's embarrassing now. But they are strong in net, and they have been for a while, and that is like their biggest point of confidence. Well, I feel like the Toronto Maple Leafs are getting there with Joseph Woll. He's getting his fourth straight start. He's already really proven that he can deal with pressure. He can deal with back-to-backs. He can deal with a steady run of games. And he's going to get that again tonight. 917 save percentage already. He's been this young, bright star for the Maple Leafs. So he's a big one tonight for him with Ilya Samsonov out for an illness. Martin Jones is backing up on the bench.
Yeah, I think about 4 or 5 weeks ago, you wanted Joseph Woll in net because Ilya Samsonov was playing so poorly. I think now you want Joseph Woll in net because Joseph Woll is playing so spectacularly. And you don't want to see anyone injured or sick or what have you. But I think a lot of Leaf fans are pretty happy to see that Joseph Woll was getting another opportunity. An opportunity to sweep this little homestand that they have this week. 3 in a row for Joseph Woll. It seems like, it's the Boston Bruins. It's going to be tough. But if he gets that done, I mean, Joseph Woll's hit a next level of momentum and backing here, I think, in this market.
Yeah, big one in net. Linus Ullmark will take the other net for the Boston Bruins. They're wearing these beautiful vintage-inspired jerseys as well.
It's hilarious. Like, it's a Vezina Trophy winner on the other side. And, you want the Vezina Trophy winner, but Jeremy Swayman's been so good that you might want Swayman if you're a Boston fan, but you're right. They can't really
nice
go
problem
wrong
to have,
with their goaltender.
Yeah, nice problem to have. All right, we got about a minute left here. Maple Leafs hosting the Boston Bruins. It's Hockey Night in Canada. This is when you circle, right? It'll be a packed barn in here tonight. Saw a lot of Bruins jerseys. That's classic here. They want to get out and make themselves known at Scotiabank Arena, but there's a few games on the schedule that I look forward to more than this one here tonight. Maybe it's because I went to school outside of Boston and I kind of have an extra oomph when I see these guys out here.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it in the pre-game show. It's like every single time Boston comes to town or every single time you go to TD Garden, it's the next biggest game of the year. And that is the case again tonight. It's the biggest game of the year. When Boston's in town on a Saturday, next litmus test, this is the one big one for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the first period after the break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The push for the fantasy football playoffs is on Fantasy Sports Radio. Don't make the wrong roster move. Don't start the wrong player. Don't make the mistake that will cost you a win.
Sam Laporta has been consistently good.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Sam Laporta. Whether you're jockeying for playoff positioning or need a win to secure your spot, get expert advice on Fantasy Sports Radio. Sirius XM 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Brian Burke.
But now it's a big story. Headline, Johnny Gaudreau bench. But he's not playing that well. His stats are terrible, and he's not playing that well. They sat him out. Now, he had the right response. He said, I got to play better. And that's all it is. Same thing here. You're playing poorly, you get benched. Shut up and work harder.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
My boy Brady Tkachuk fired up, said what he wanted to say. I love when a captain comes out like that and sticks up for his team. Listen, the fans of Ottawa, they paid their hard-earned money to get in there. I guess if they want to boo, they can boo. I love Brady sticking up for his guys. But Brady Tkachuk, good for you. Say how you feel. Plays hard on and off the ice. Cooley, I love that kid.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
George McPhee on the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a sense as to what you and Kelly were thinking in terms of this season's roster.
The team overall is in pretty darn good shape. It's sort of in our prime. This team wants to be some kind of legacy team where you can win a couple of Stanley Cup. That's the challenge that you present to the players.
NHL Morning Skate
With Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
On NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The Points
with Boomer Gordon.
Speaking of someone who grew up an Islander fan, you're not good enough to win now. You've got no prospects for the future, and you're not bad enough to get like the lottery pick. So we're just going to watch the Islanders float in the hockey abyss indefinitely until someone in the organization acknowledges that what they have is broken. And I don't think anyone's going to do that.
Points
with Boomer Gordon.
1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review
with Mick Kerr.
11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The Leafs Radio Network.
Second meeting between the Leafs and the Boston Bruins about to happen here at Scotiabank Arena. And the starting netminders, Joseph Woll, 8-5-0, 2.74 his goals against average. Never has played against the Boston Bruins in the regular season. And it will be Linus Ullmark, late of the Buffalo Sabres. Now with the Bruins 7-3-1, 2.64 his goals against average and a .917 save percentage. The Leafs to the right and the Bruins to the left. And we're underway as the puck is dropped. And the Leafs will play it off the boards and chip it down into Boston territory. Bruins rattling it around the boards to the near wing. Grabbed off by Pasternak, but he circles back deeper into his own zone before playing it out and down the ice. And a foot race here that Morgan Rielly is going to win. And it'll be a face-off coming all the way back into the Boston zone.
Well, the Boston Bruins snapped a 3-game losing streak with a 3-0 win over the San Jose Sharks a couple of nights ago. And a 3-game losing streak has not been the norm for the Boston Bruins the last year and a half.
15-4-3, 33 points for the Bruins thus far. Leafs win the faceoff. It's back to the point. Shot by Brody was blocked, and it caroms all the way down into the Leaf end. And will it have enough to get into the trapezoidal area? It does. Wall punching it into the near corner. Bruins unable to get to it initially, and Tavares will regroup it back into his own zone. Morgan Rielly dropping it back for T.J. Brody. Brody in front of his own net, waiting for players to change. Now to Nylander. Nylander, a left wing feed off the stick of Rielly to get into the zone. Back of the net goes Nylander, taken to the boards by Matt Grzelcyk. The puck into the slot area, now carried by Nyes into the corner, comes back to the point. Nyes couldn't get a loose puck. Marchand trying to get it out, has tipped it into the Boston bench and out of play. First period presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
How about this? 28 years ago today, Patrick Waugh played his last game with the Montreal Canadiens, got pulled, giving up 9 goals in the second period, walked past Ronald Corey, the owner, who used to sit behind the bench, and said, I'm done.
I'm done. I can't work.
I almost had the opportunity to do the same thing. Same scenario.
When?
Well, the only thing is they beat me to the you're done part.
The done part?
Yeah.
Just as you were about to make your statement.
Yeah, they said it first.
Said, never mind.
They said it first. They said you're done.
You just gave up 9. Pack your bag. You're out of here.
No video review back then.
No, none. 0. No, that was as famous a moment in NHL history. What a way to go out. Patrick Waugh, and of course, where he went turned out to be a pretty good career move for Patrick Waugh, and certainly played big part in Colorado, going on to all of that success that they had as we get some shoving in back of the Toronto goal, and a rolling puck down there that Wall was forced to cover up.
And a little pushing and shoving as I think it was Danton Heinen was the Bruin that got in and trying to cause a little trouble for Joseph Wall. The other 4 Bruins have gone to the ice or gone to the Bruin bench in a line change.
Face off to the left of Wall. David Camp has been waved out, and Noah Gregor, playing in his 200th NHL game, gets to take the draw, and the Leafs win it cleanly as it's pushed back by Benoit. And now the Leafs bring it out into the center ice area. Pass up on the left wing for Benoit. Benoit down into the corner. Tried to center, had it blocked. The puck still laying there. Came back towards him, but it was picked off there nicely by Poitras and sent out into the center ice area. Bruins think they've found something in Matthew Poitras from Whitby. He has still got status to play junior hockey, but they've kept him. A centering pass in front of the shot. Went just wide as Brody came in from the right point. Puck is back of the goal now for Camp. David Camp getting it back to Brody on his backhand. Swatted back into the corner. It got by Gregor. And the Leafs are going to make a player change as the Domi line comes over the boards.
And you like that. 4th line goes out to take the draw in their own zone and finishes it with some scoring chances at the other end. Now, Kelly Yarncroc, though, was out with Camp and Noah Gregor instead of Ryan Reeves for the first shift.
Around the boards to the far side in the Leaf zone. It comes back of the net. Riley couldn't get it away there from Steen. A centering pass, and then the shot went over top of the Leaf goal. Domi, a long alley-oop to center that is cut off there nicely by Charlie McAvoy. Brought in over the line, misses a hit. McAvoy a shot, and that went just wide of the far post. Domi tried to catch McAvoy coming across the blue line and just missed him. Robertson playing it back into his own end. Leafs taking their time to come out. A chip pass in on the left wing, sent in there by Tavares. And the Leafs into the forecheck, but it is pushed up on the left wing, and DeBrusk gets it ahead for Pasternak. Pasternak in over the line. Knocked away into the corner, far side. DeBrusk works out of the corner. Cycles it back the other way. Lagesson does a nice job on his man. DeBrusk getting it back to the point, but it's punched out at center ice. But on the fresh ice, it's going to slide all the way back to the goalkeeper and deny a breakaway chance there for Marner. Marner in on the left wing for Bertuzzi. Sent into the corner then for Tavares, too far. Bertuzzi sends it back, and then Tavares steps out on a sharp angle, and on the short side couldn't jam it past Ullmark. Bruins will launch it high to center ice. Timmins restores it. A pass up the middle on the left wing for Nyes, and he got the shot away. Ullmark went down, but was able to close the pads and hold on. Face-off coming in Boston territory.
Now, we talked about Patrick Waugh. What a great move it was, not only for him personally, but for the Colorado
pads and hold on. Face-off coming in Boston territory.
Now, we talked about Patrick Waugh. What a great move it was, not only for him personally, but for the Colorado Avalanche. Linus Ullmark, during his time in Buffalo, and obviously different organizations, different levels of success, but was 50, 47, and 13. As a member of the Sabres with the Bruins, he is 73, 19, and 4.
Lots of action this afternoon. The Dallas Stars hanging an 8-1 thrashing on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Andrei Vasilevsky might fallen a little bit victim to Everyone's saying he's back. We
That's
can
right.
relax
We
now.
can relax now. Yeah, exactly. Another shot off the faceoff is swallowed up. And so the faceoff again in the Boston zone. Matthews taking the draw. Nylander and Nyes with him. And the draw won cleanly by Charlie Coyle. It's set around on the boards where Matthews was able to get to it. He's able to launch it into the near corner. Nylander does a nice job shielding the puck. The puck comes free in front. Matthews couldn't get a shot. Now Riley backpedals back to the blue line. Off on the left wing side. Sharp angle try by Matthews. And Nyes was right in the doorstep there, but couldn't get it free to step around the goalkeeper with it. And Olmark is able to cover up.
I think Nyes was just trying to kick that puck to the right wing side. TJ Brody was trying to sneak down. But the Bruins do a really good job of this, boxing out. As Nyes has to go through a couple of Bruins even to get to the top of the crease. Derek Forbert, I believe, was the one that tied him up. Charlie McAvoy was right with him.
Face off to the right of the Boston goalkeeper. Sent around the boards by Derek Forbert. Cut off there at the blue line, though, by Timmins, who sends it back behind the net. Nylander able to shield it nicely. Tries to reverse his field, but was taken to the boards by McAvoy. And the Bruins get the puck out at center ice. The Leafs have had the first 4 shots on goal in this game. And Matthews goes down into the corner after it. Double teamed in there. And the puck squirts free, and Poitras will send it back behind the net. Right wing side for McAvoy. Got it to the Leafs blue line. Finally sent in wide of the net by Trent Frederick. And the Leafs are back there looking to break out as both teams are getting a change in. Up the middle for Domi. Max Domi across the line. Poked into the corner for him again. Couldn't get it away there from Shattenkirk. They go to the boards with it. Played around back of the net. And Matt Grzelcyk will get it out. And it's just out of the reach of Morgan Geekie, and it turns into an icing with 14:32 to go here in the first period. No score if you just joined us. The Leafs and the Boston Bruins.
And if you're the Leafs, you might want to put a little extra importance on the first goal. The Bruins 11-1-1 on the season when scoring first, 4-3-2 when giving up the first goal. For the Leafs, so it doesn't seem to matter. Identical records pretty much when scoring first or giving up the first goal of a game. 6-3-2 versus 6-3-1.
Bruins scored the first 2 goals down in the Boston Garden to take a 2-0 lead. Marner and Matthews scored in the second, and the Leafs would end up losing in a shootout. Played through center ice. Bertuzzi dropped it there for Tavares, but following up on the play is defenseman Lagesson, who shoots it in. Along the boards, trapped there by the Leafs, centered in front, but no one there. Now a stolen puck, trying to work in there was Bertuzzi, and a sprawling save by Olmark in front of his own goal. Now Marner keeps the puck in for Toronto. Far side, Lindholm will play it out into the center ice area. Leafs have had the jump here in the early going. Riley trying to send the puck in, but had it knocked out of midair, and it is shot down the ice again by Boston, and once again another icing call coming here against the Bruins. We've played 6 minutes and 17 seconds. The Bruins without a shot on goal.
And 4 from a Leaf standpoint. Nothing really clear cut yet. I mean, I think everybody felt that the big turnover the Bruins had over the summer, plus the disappointing loss in the first round of Florida, that there would be a big step backwards this year.
No, sir. Shot in front of the goal, and there was Reeves, but he couldn't redirect it on goal. Now Reeves into the corner is nudged off the puck there by Zacha, and the Bruins get it out, and Pasternak getting it away at center and in on the left wing, driving in with a shot. The first save by Wall is also covered up by the Leafs netminder with a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. It is a 0-0 tie, and you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
SiriusXM is the home for the best in podcasts, including Pod Save the World.
Hey, it's Tommy Vitor. Each week, me and my co-host and former White House colleague Ben Rhodes break down the biggest stories from around the world as they unfold. Let's talk about Russia. Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping are set to meet face-to-face. There are competing narratives in this conflict.
Pod Save the World is available now on the SiriusXM app. And SiriusXM Radio is free now through December 4th. Just press the button in your car to enjoy. Visit SiriusXM.com/listen free to see what's on.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
Brian Burke.
But now it's a big story. Headline, Johnny Gaudreau bench. But he's not playing that well. His stats are terrible, and he's not playing that well. They sat him out. Now, he had the right response. He said, I got to play better. And that's all it is. Same thing here. You're playing poorly, you get benched. Shut up and work harder.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need
On the home of hockey,
NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Radio Network.
Hey, want to send out our best wishes to a friend of ours and a frequent visitor of that Unionville Arms and Pub spot that I've never been in before. Harv Willett, who is in hospital going through a little bit of a health scare. We're all with you there, Harv, so get out there, get the blades back on, and we'll see you in the arms. The only bad thing about Harv is he's a Boston Bruins fan. Here's the Leafs breaking in, and Nyes is going to draw a penalty here as the Bruins touch the puck. And the Leafs will go to the very first power play opportunity of the game.
Yeah, this is a hook on the back check, and it was actually Charlie McAvoy, I think, is the Bruin the defenseman that got caught. He was about the third man back. And then put the hook on the Leaf player who was just about to launch it. And that was Matthew Nyes. Took a pretty good hit from David Pastrnak as well.
So the Leafs to the power play, 7th in the National Hockey League, 16 of 65, and 24.6%. Draw to the right of Ullmark. And the draw won cleanly by Tavares. Far side Nylander. He gets his man to the ice. There's a centering pass looking for Matthews through a lot of legs, and it didn't work. Centering in front. Oh, and Nylander was there, and then he tried to bank it in off the goaltender, and that didn't work. Tavares back to the point. Walking the line now with it is Riley. Far side, a pass back in front. Rebound in front. Hit the goal post. Rattled off the iron in front by Marner. Leafs can't get to it. Bruins are going to get clear of it, and Coyle sends it off the boards and down the ice. Couple of good chances there by the Coyle. Sends it off the boards and down the ice. Couple of good chances there by the Maple Leafs. First unit remains out on the ice. First unit remains out on the ice. Marner wearing the fishbowl again. Why not? Got a hat trick with it the last time. At the blue line, here's Riley. Walking the line. Holds. Sent off to Nylander, right wing side. A pass looking for a redirect. Didn't happen. And it is caromed off the wall and gone all the way out and down the ice.
I do like the fact the Leafs have been very aggressive in getting the puck to the net. Not those 15 passes outside the box.
Marner coming out of his own zone. Dropping the puck back for Domi. Domi ran into a traffic jam, got it ahead for Bertuzzi. At some point when it kind of bogs down, I think you got to just send the darn thing in and get after it. But it is bogged down here in the neutral zone, and the Leafs have not gotten out of their own end.
No, the second unit's had a struggle there.
Yeah, a little drop pass by Domi almost was a little mistake. Now the Leafs start out of their own end. Domi takes the drop pass and hits the red line. Left wing feed for Bertuzzi. Offside.
Yeah, Bertuzzi a little stutter step before he got to the line, and just 14 seconds. Now left in the power play for the Leafs. First one of the game. And I will say that, when they went through those back-to-back games against Pittsburgh and Chicago, the first power play of the game, in both those games that they got, the Leafs had a 1-goal lead in the first period of both those games. The power plays went flat. And I mean, like what we've seen in the second half of this power play. Couldn't get the puck in. There's no control in the offensive zone whatsoever. And it had an effect on the rest of the game. The game seemed to turn then. And those were instances you could have built early 2-goal leads.
Robertson with the puck off a face-off, went in over the line, dropping it back to the blue line. Defenseman got knocked down. Timmins, 2-on-1 break here for the Bruins, and on goal! And the diligent back-checking there of the Maple Leafs deny an opportunity. Great play made by Nicky Robertson to get back. And the puck into the center ice area now for Coyle. Turned over. Robertson makes a move and has dropped it off there for David Camp, who will play it down into the Boston zone. Nick Robertson got on his horse. That I got to make up for that fall of Timmins, and he did. It was a perfect goal mouth pass and denied by Robertson's effort. Leafs on the left wing get it to the line and out. McCabe couldn't get it into the zone. Now Gregor does, and he got a shot away! And the bounced off of Olmark and was laying in the crease, but a Bruin swept it aside before a Leaf could get there. Bruins back the other way. Poitras shot, and that deflects and goes up into the screen and out of play.
I'll tell you, Noah Gregor must have a deceptive release for a goaltender to pick it up on ice. He scored 3 goals on the year, including the shootout winner, but all on shots from the left wing side. And we just saw it right there.
People, though, don't they? Yeah.
And there was, another one that David Kempf made a great play, stripping the puck off the Bruin right at the Boston line. And Gregor comes out, but for whatever reason, and I mean...
Do you think he pulls it back just a little or something before he snaps it?
I think part of it is there's no wind-up to it. It's just...
Maybe, just right off the...
that's, and not putting him in the Kucherov category, but that's what I think makes Nikita Kucherov so dangerous. There's no wind-up. You have no idea where it's going, whether it's a pass or a shot.
Benoit gets the puck down into the Boston zone. Double-teamed in the far corner. Leafs Bertuzzi trying to get it freed up. Tavares couldn't help him out. Good play by Marner, though, to turn it over. Here's centering pass, Bertuzzi, and it hit the side of the goal just to the left of the near goal post. Bruins in the far boards play it out at center ice, and Toronto onto it again. Bruins in or Leafs in over the line. Marner getting it to Bertuzzi. Couldn't get a shot away. Marner fell and then tripped up the Boston player. No penalty there, but it's played ahead now by the Bruins. Forbert with a long shot that was stopped by Wall. Diving to knock it out at center ice is Bertuzzi. Bruins organized at their own blue line. Pasternak on the right wing. There's the shot, and scores! From the top of the circle, he pulled it back just about 6 inches and then snapped it. And David Pasternak has the Bruins out in front with his 14th.
And it'll be interesting to see the replay here if this goes off Morgan Riley's stick. And I think it might have, Joe. As Joseph Wall getting a look at it now.
Yeah.
I think it might have off the stick and then sailed over the right shoulder of Joseph Wall.
10:44 the time of the goal for Pasternak, as we mentioned, his 14th of the season.
And again, Pasternak just with that lethal release.
He has scored 4 power play goals of the 14 that he has scored this year, which in itself is a great season at even strength. He's really made his hay on that power play for Boston, hasn't he? 8:50 to play in the period. 1-0 Bruins. Puck down into the Boston zone. It's cleared out at center. Marchand couldn't get to it. Now Leafs tag up, and the Bruins have it on the right wing side with Hampus Lindholm sending it into the Toronto zone. Wall dishes it off. Riley exchanges the puck with his defense partner Brody as the Leafs have completed their change. And now Riley starts up the left wing for Robertson. In across the line, played into the corner, back of the net, completed their change. And now Riley starts up the left wing for Robertson. In across the line, played into the corner, back of the net for Domi. Tried to center, but he hit the back of the net. The Bruins try to step up, and McCabe hit the back of the net. The Bruins try to step up, and McCabe steps up and takes the man, and the Leafs have the puck back at their own blue line. Domi in across the line, dropping it back, sent into the far boards. Yarncrook couldn't get to it. Bruins will throw it into the center ice area. Lagesson takes his man out. The Leafs regroup it. And out comes McCabe on the left wing. At center. Weaves to the left, sends a long shoot in wide of the goal. Domi trying to protect the puck with a centering pass. That didn't work. Bruins counter down the left wing. And upended there. Noah Gregor took his man down as Lauko couldn't get around him. Benoit shoots it back into Boston territory. Leafs trap it. Gregor plays it back in the net for David Camp. Reeves goes to the front of the goal. Camp drops it back for Benoit. Benoit tried to send it into the traffic, but it was blocked, and the Bruins are able to break it out. Oscar Steen getting it into the Toronto zone, but he was a little late doing that, and it's offside. Pasternak from Carlo and Lindholm. And the Bruins with a 1-0 lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate by visiting my local Subaru dealer for a holiday bonus. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of, even a fully finished lower level. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks.
Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Long shot, deflects in front of the goal. They backhand it into the net.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Leafs Radio Network.
1-0 Boston. David Pasternak's 14th of the season at 10:44.
I got to ask you this. We've had this conversation now. It's amazing that somebody wins in overtime or a shootout. It changes how you feel about the whole game. I think people forget the Leafs are down 2-0 in Boston. Came back and tied it. Marner and Matthews scored a little over a minute apart in the second period to tie it. But because they lost in a shootout, nobody's saying, boy, they came back on the Boston Bruins.
Yeah. You lose
perspective of it.
Of the entire game. Yeah, you're right. And not winning in regulation. Well, who cares? You know, look, if you're still winning,
well, Joe,
really, who cares?
At this point, I think the feeling is eventually it's going to catch up to you, that it's going to even out. And how about Joe Woll comes in with an 8-5 record. 6 of his 8 wins have been in overtime. Now, of course, 2 of those were in relief in games against the Tampa Bay Lightning that he came in for Ilya Samsonov and got the win in overtime in both of them.
Woll has faced 3 Boston shots thus
NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
Boarding call to Ryan Reeves. 16:03 the time, and it was a phantom one, wasn't it? During the break, a lot of chirping going on at the benches, led by Trent Frederick. Pass in on goal, stopped there by Wall and covered up. Van Riemsdyk being shoved out of the way.
Boston Power played 10th overall in the National Hockey League, 16 for 70.
Leafs win the draw, and a dangerous pass in front of the net.
Jake McCabe went behind Joseph Wall to get it and thought, well, just throw it back out in front. Nobody will expect this.
No one will be there. Unfortunately, it was only Marner who was. Pasternak to the blue line and in. Swept around the boards and back into the near corner for Pasternak. It comes back to the blue line, but out of the reach of the Boston point man, and it's all the way back into the Bruins' end. McAvoy comes to the red line, drops for Pasternak. Pasternak hits the line into the slot area, broken up by the Leafs, cleared to the wing, and a shot stopped by Wall. The rebound gets over on the far side, and Noah Gregor is able to get it out and down the ice.
Well, this might be a game that Joseph Wall has got to battle through. Doesn't look quite as in sync as we've seen him the last couple.
Hampus Lindholm makes an errant pass. It goes back into the Boston end, and DeBrusk has to go back to retrieve it. 48 seconds left in the penalty. DeBrusk hits the line. Tried to get it in along the boards there for Marchand. That didn't work. Leafs play it on the boards, but Marchand blocks it. Back to the point. Lindholm, far side shot, deflects off a body and goes wide. Marchand back to the point again. Lindholm to the far side again, a shot. And that went just wide. Into the corner is Coyle. Played around the boards for Pasternak. Pasternak tries to center, finds Marchand. Back to the point, and to Marchand to drive, and there is Wall coming across nicely and getting squared up and taking that shot on the chest and hold for a face-off with 15 seconds to go in the power play.
Looked good there, didn't he? Back over and square. Sometimes what happens that even if the Pasternak goal went off Morgan Riley's stick, you know as a goaltender it looks bad. Of course, in the old days, you'd have to sort of like throw your arms up and blame the player that did it.
That's right, yeah. That was always good. That was good for morale.
But I think it can rattle you just a little bit when you give up a goal from long range, whether it was tipped or not.
Oh, it's going to be one of those nights.
Yeah. Just a little bit. When you give up a goal from long range, whether it was tipped or not.
Oh, it's going to be one of those nights.
Yeah. And especially after the Leafs had all kinds of great chances at the other end and couldn't get one to go.
Quatrip.
Leafs had all kinds of great chances at the other end and couldn't get one to go.
Quatrip trying to come off the boards. I'm sure that the Whitby native has had to dip into his pocket a little bit for tickets here tonight. As the puck rolls to the line, he's the only Ontario boy on the Bruins roster. Reeves out of the box. Got it ahead for Camp. His pass was intercepted. Bruins play it back in over the line, and Reeves will regroup and then head to the bench. Leafs in their own zone. Long lead pass. Tavares drops for Marner. He hits the line, tried to flip it in. It was knocked out of the air with a glove. The puck is still bouncing around as it comes to the near wing. Kept alive there by Tavares, but Marner couldn't catch it. And now the Bruins have sent it down the ice, and Timmins will be in position to allow an icing to happen. And so it comes back into the Boston end. The Leafs trail 1-0 on a goal by David Pasternak with 1:19 to play here in the period.
I read this and I agree with it 100%. It said your favorite NHL jerseys are the ones that you grew up watching. And I think when we look at what's on the ice right now, I watched the Rangers Red Wings game mostly just for the colors. I mean, it brings you back to your childhood, a game at MSG between the Red Wings and the New York Rangers with those great colorful uniforms.
Pass back to Marner, who was at the point, goes all the way back into the Toronto zone. Wall scooping it along to the near side, and then it was shot over top of the Toronto goal. Timmins Gets it into the corner for McCabe. He skates back of the net. Double teamed over there. Timmins can't help him out. Now Tavares ties up his man. The puck squirted free. And Bertuzzi stick handles into the corner. And the former Bruin will get it back to his defense. And the Leafs will get it to McCabe on the left wing. And now Nylander starts away through neutral ice. He's across the line. Thought about splitting the fence. Then thought better of it. But controls the puck on the left wing into the slot. It'll come back to the point. Brody keeping it in. Matthews a shot. And that went wide. 26 seconds left in the period. Played to the open corner on the far side. Nyes getting there first. Can't get it away from Derek Forbert as it comes out into the center ice area. And the Bruins play it to the Leaf zone. Dozen seconds left. Played back down into Boston territory. McAvoy around on the boards. Final 4 seconds ticking. The Leafs can hurry. They got it on goal just as the horn goes. But Ullmark makes the save. And the Bruins will nurse a 1-0 lead into the dressing room after 20 minutes of play.
I think from a Leaf standpoint, you're pretty happy. I mean, you outshoot the Bruins 9-7. Be interesting to see what the offensive zone time is for each team, but the Leafs seem to dominate offensive zone time. And right now, the difference is a rather long shot off the stick of David Pastrnak that may have glanced off the stick of Morgan Riley and sailed up over the right shoulder of Joseph Woll. And that's the difference in the period right now. But I think if you're Sheldon Keefe and the Leafs, you pull out all the old cliches, which includes stick with it, keep your structure, keep it simple, because I think you got to like what you saw from Toronto in the first.
Bruins lead 1-0. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
A game-winning home run by Derek Jeter.
They are legends and icons.
The Lakers take the lead on Magic Johnson's running skyhook.
And you can hear them right now on the Sirius XM app.
We got Magic Johnson here.
Everybody got all these shows. They've been hounding me. I said, I'm only doing one, and that's Eddie Johnson. Anytime you guys need me, I'm here.
Legendary Derek Jeter. Welcome to Black Diamonds.
Thanks for having me. I've been waiting for the invitation.
And for access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio. Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Brian Burke.
But now it's a big story. Headline, Johnny Gaudreau bench. But he's not playing that well. His stats are terrible, and he's not playing that well. They sat him out. Now, he had the right response. He said, I got to play better. And that's all it is. Same thing here. You're playing poorly, you get benched. Shut up and work harder.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
My boy Brady Tkachuk fired up, said what he wanted to say. I love when a captain comes out like that and sticks up for his team. Listen, the fans of Ottawa, they paid their hard-earned money to get in there. I guess if they want to boo, they can boo. I love Brady sticking up for his guys. But Brady Tkachuk, good for you. Say how you feel. Plays hard on and off the ice. Cooley, I love that kid.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
George McPhee on the Vegas Golden Knights. Give us a sense as to what you and Kelly were thinking in terms of this season's roster.
The team overall is in pretty darn good shape. It's sort of in our prime. This team wants to be some kind of legacy team where you can win a couple of Stanley Cup. That's the challenge that you present to the players.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The Points
with Boomer Gordon.
Speaking as someone who grew up an Islander fan, you're not good enough to win now. You've got no prospects for the future, and you're not bad enough to get like the lottery pick. So we're just going to watch the Islanders float in the hockey abyss indefinitely until someone in the organization acknowledges that what they have is broken. And I don't think anyone's going to do that.
Points
with Boomer Gordon.
1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Do that.
Points
with Boomer Gordon.
1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid 2, what's
FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores.
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and Maple Leafs Radio Network. Elish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here. Leafs trail 1-0 after 20 minutes on a goal from, guess who? David Pastrnak, putting another one in the net.
Yeah, it wasn't the highest event period. It wasn't the most interesting period. There are a couple things to dig into, of course. But we talked about how there's a couple special goal scorers on the ice, and we saw a special moment from one of them, that being David Pastrnak. Not sure if there was a deflection from Morgan Riley.
I think there was a deflection. You might need like a telescope.
Yeah,
but it hit something.
Either way, that was a pretty decisive shot from David Pastrnak. I don't know if you can quibble with it, because if it got a deflection, maybe you're not blaming Joseph Woll as much. But that was a goal scorer's goal. David Pastrnak 1, Austin Matthews and the Maple Leafs 0-1.
Yeah, you mentioned it wasn't a very high event period. 10 shots for the Leafs, 7 for the Bruins. I think at one point it was like 5-5 with a couple minutes left. It didn't really pick up till the end there. A couple chances for both teams, but it looked a bit slow and a bit messy, really. If you're looking at the way that both teams came out, we talked about how important this game is, how exciting this game is. It's Hockey Night in Canada. It's against one of your rivals in the Boston Bruins. It's Saturday night, and it looked like, we're getting your feet under you a little bit, slowly getting into it. But the Leafs have been in town for the whole week. They've had a bunch of home games, so really not sure where the intensity or the urgency was to start.
I don't know if it was the most sluggish period going. In fact,
sloppy.
There was a little sloppiness to it, especially with that second power play unit. I think, honestly, that kind of opened the door for what was the worst stretch for the Maple Leafs, but I think it was only a brief stretch, and it was a special play rather than a really, really poor defensive play from the Maple Leafs that resulted in the goal. My major impression from the period, because we haven't been here in a while, we haven't done the in-person in a while. Wow, William Nylander looks good. Like, he's dancing out there.
Yeah.
What he's doing looks so dangerous.
He has the puck on the string. Like, that's it.
He crossed over a guy and sent him tumbling to the ice on the power play offensive period over the last month, but is a reminder tonight that he's just performing at such a high level. He looked really good, and I think if he can get it back on track here, Maple Leafs offense will have something to say about this one.
All right, so I guess the biggest thing besides Boston taking a 1-0 lead on that Pastrnak goal was the penalty on Ryan Reeves, who hit the little rookie
Matt Poitras
into the boards, and I would say in a pretty normal hit, finished his check, and that is what Ryan Reeves is meant to do. It wasn't dangerous, it wasn't illegal, but he gets a 2-minute penalty for boarding. The fans don't love that. The review looked pretty mid, but it kind of got us talking about something that John Tortorella said. I believe it was either last night or the night before. You have the quote. Actually, read it.
Yeah, Tortorella, after Luke Hughes got run over.
Oh, he got run over.
Jack Hughes wasn't happy. The Devils weren't happy. Luke Hughes took a massive hit. And Tortorella is old school, so you can see where he's coming from, but I, and anyone who's new school, I think can kind of see where he's coming from too, because Luke Hughes wasn't expecting it when he probably should have. And Tort said, we kind of tried to turn this league into a no-hit league. Now people aren't ready to be hit. I think it's a lost art in how you take hits. And I will say, Ryan Reeves went through the back there, for sure. I mean, he went right through the middle of those two numbers on Matt Poitras. But Poitras did not set himself to be hit. In fact, he just went parallel with the boards.
Like he went limp.
Almost asking you to not hit him. And I do think maybe Reeves is a little bit too aggressive, was wanting to lay that hit a little bit maybe more than he should have. But I think this is another example of Torts saying these young guys maybe not ready to be hit or trying to avoid being hit and therefore putting themselves in compromising positions, and it worked out for Boston this time.
Well, I mean, of course, Ryan Reeves is the bigger, stronger guy in that situation. But when you're playing hockey, when you grow up playing hockey, I was trying to think when I started playing. I played boys AAA growing up, right? Okay. And so whenever the first time you can play AAA is, I think it's Pee Wee. I was playing AAA boys. The second you could, whatever age it is. And obviously I'm a younger girl compared to my male counterparts, but we're learning how to hit and absorb hits and take hits. Like, I remember Pickering College, coldest rink in the world. You're going around the boards, and it was like a hitting line. It was like learning how to absorb the hit, learning how to hit back, and you would just go, and you'd learn like the fundamentals of hitting, how to properly absorb it, knowing when to be ready for a hit. And I played AAA my entire, I guess, adolescence until I moved to girls hockey. And even in girls hockey, there's no hitting. But you're not taught how to hit in girls hockey because there is no hitting. So you leave yourself in vulnerable spots all the time because you never learned about it. And I would say, like, now hitting's later. So you leave yourself in vulnerable spots all the time because you never learned about it. And I would say, like, now hitting's later in the game. It's not emphasized as much as when I was growing up playing boys. So you're learning less, and you're emphasized as much as when I was growing up playing boys. So you're learning less, and you're probably not thinking about it as much. It's a faster, it's a more skilled league. Whereas if you're not learning how to hit or when to receive a hit, stuff like that happens where you're almost surprised by it and you're not prepared. So I know things have changed a lot since I played, but I just remember specifically learning how to absorb and take hits. And I think that nowadays, and I know Biz tweeted something similar out about this, was like, there's no contact now till later years of minor hockey. They're not learning the fundamentals anymore. He said the same thing as me. You would go to a specific hockey school to learning the fundamentals anymore. He said the same thing as me. You would go to a specific hockey school to learn how to give and receive hits, and I did that too, and now it's kind of going backwards in a sense.
Now, I don't know this for sure. I'm surprised there wouldn't be any of that because there is a lot of hitting in hockey still.
Some, yes.
I just would say there's no way they taught you, they didn't teach you or me or anyone else to lay your body flat against the boards in a way that you're trying to tell them not to hit you. You're putting yourself in a compromising position to avoid them or to deter them from hitting you at all, which is not really fair to the player trying to finish their check.
All right, lots to go through here, but we'll take a quick break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Get the perfect holiday gifts for hockey fans on your list at NHLShop.ca. The world's largest selection of officially licensed NHL fan gear with unique one-of-a-kind designs by Fanatics, Adidas, and more. All the latest styles for every NHL team. Don't miss out. Shop now and get today's special holiday offer. NHLShop.ca, a Fanatics experience.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer for a holiday bonus. And welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
TuneInATruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think TuneInATruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, TuneInATruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. What makes a great gift? Well, I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. A gift they can eat, definitely. And if they like to share, a gift you can eat too. Well, that settles it. Our Great Canadian Meat salami and pepperoni sticks are the perfect gift and a perfect addition to your charcuterie board. Pick up Great Canadian Meat at our store in Whitby or online at greatcanadianmeat.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here for the next couple minutes before we send you to the second period. Leafs are trailing 1-0 to the Boston Bruins here on Hockey Night in Canada. Let's take a quick look around the NHL and our NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Busy night in the NHL. 3 finals already in the bag. 8-1. Dallas beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. Wow. The Jets beat the Blackhawks. Connor Bedard scored a goal. Rangers stay hot. 4-3 winners over the Nashville Predators. In the third period, the Islanders are up 4-2 over the Panthers. End of first period, Red Wings 3-1 over the Canadiens. Senators over the Kraken. End of 1-0. And the Carolina Hurricanes are up 3-0 over the Sabres. And it is 0-0. Flyers and Penguins in the Battle of Pennsylvania.
Oh. That's what they're calling it, eh? The Battle of Pennsylvania.
Well,
right.
Battle of Ontario, Battle of Alberta.
I didn't realize it was as big as the Battle of Ontario.
I never said it was as big.
But it is a battle of a specific state or province.
Yes.
A big one later tonight, too. Canucks and Flames. The newest Zadorov switching over to the Canucks. That'll be a big one later on Hockey Night in Canada. David Pastrnak has a lone goal tonight. He has collected 1.23 points per game in his career versus the Leafs, so kind of felt like that one was coming. The Maple Leafs had outchanced the Boston Bruins, though, however, at 5-on-5 in that first period. So maybe the second period we come back, things tied up.
Yeah, if it's more of the same, Leafs have been more aggressive and been a little bit more dangerous offensively. So if that continues, maybe Leafs come back in this one.
Okay, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the second period. Next, you're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The push for the fantasy football playoffs is on Fantasy Sports Radio.
Wow! Unbelievable!
Don't make the wrong roster move. Don't start the wrong player. Don't make the mistake that will cost you a win.
Sam Laporta has been consistently good.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Sam Laporta!
Whether you're jockeying for playoff positioning or need a win to secure your spot.
Detroit Lions, Sam Laporta!
Whether you're jockeying for playoff positioning or need a win to secure your spot. Get expert advice on Fantasy Sports Radio. Sirius XM 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Brian Burke.
But now it's a big story. Headline, Johnny Gaudreau bench. But he's not playing that well. His stats are terrible, and he's not playing that well. They sat him out. Now, he had the right response. He said, I got to play better. And that's all it is. Same thing here. You're playing poorly, you get benched. Shut up and work harder.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland! Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best! What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
In the Leafs Radio Network.
David Pasternak's 14th goal of the year from Carlo and Lindholm at 10:44 is all that's on the board. We get set to start the second period. The Bruins leading 1-0. The Leafs trying to end a 4-game losing streak to the Bruins after they had won 4 in a row themselves. And we're underway as the Bruins send the puck out into the center ice area, and Bertuzzi chops it right back into the zone. Ullmark swats it around the boards. Marner had it bounce over his stick. Bruins down the left wing side get in over the line. Good defensive play made there, and the Leafs are able to bat it back into neutral ice. They'll try the far side this time. Played into the corner, and in goes Danton Heinen. Puck pushed up on the wing for Marner. Rink wide, finds Morgan Riley. He's in on the left wing, trying to get it in there to Bertuzzi, who tried to kind of play it out of the air. Now he does get it in front for a chance. Another try in front of the net as Tavares, who's on the seat of his pants, I believe has the puck underneath him because he's really creating quite a disturbance down there. And finally, when it does come free, the Bruins get it out at center. Poor John Tavares is just kind of sitting there, and the puck's underneath him, and everybody's hammering them. Leafs get it in over the line. Matthews with a shot, and it was redirected off the stick of Pavel Zacha up into the screen.
Well, since we're into the second period, the Leafs have yet to score. Let's throw this
how many games has it been since the Leafs were shut out, Mr. Ralph?
You know how scary it is now? They are at 2 full seasons, 164 games.
Wow.
Without being shut out, and you can throw in 18 playoff games as well. But let's throw that out there and see if the Leafs can...
Yeah. Well, not that either of us is overly superstitious, but we are. So there's Nylander. Little toe drag move, but couldn't carry the puck with him. Zacha takes it around into the corner in the Boston zone. Will find his defenseman. And a long lead pass comes to center for Hampus Lindholm. In on the right wing. And a quick shot taken there by Pasternak. And a good pad save made by Wall. But a juicy rebound lay there until almost an afterthought was taken back. Now to the line and in. And a shot off the goal post by Matthews. That would have been very interesting because a Bruin forced one of the Leafs offside right at the rush. And I don't know if that wasn't offside because of it, but should have been a penalty.
I was going to say, the Leafs just recently took a penalty in a similar play. Remember, Matthew Nyes actually pulled up to try to stay onside.
Long bouncing puck down into the Bruins' end turns into an icing. The linesman tonight, Dan Kelly. I think this is the first time that Dan Kelly has done a line game for us. Steve Barton is his assistant. Trevor Hansen and Corey Savet are the referees.
Boy, Austin Matthews, we need to see more of that this year, don't we? It's one thing, even when Matthews got off to the scorching start. Not a lot of those were those patented, well, much like we saw Pasternak's goal in the first period for Boston, that long-range bullet to the top corner.
Domi line out for Toronto. And the Bruins win the face-off and send a shot to the net that goes off a stick and into the screen. And another face-off coming in the Toronto end. Much was made of the Marchand incident with Timothy Liljegren, that there wasn't a response. And your thoughts?
My thoughts was it was a trip. I mean, it had a bad result. It was a trip. It wasn't a sucker punch. It wasn't boarding from behind. So it's a goofy part of the game. I thought they responded by coming back from a 2-goal deficit.
Bruins keep the puck in at the point. At the blue line, a drive by Shattenkirk was defeated. At the blue line, a drive by Shattenkirk was deflected wide of the Leaf goal. Yarncrook forcing it back into the corner, but the Bruins are onto it again there, sending it back for Forbert, back of the net. Shattenkirk playing it along the boards and to the line, and it goes around back of the net to the near side. The Leafs have not been able to get it out, and now they do, as it is launched by Nick Robertson down into the Boston end, and he'll get a change of players going.
I'll tell you, though, if you're Jacob Trouba...
Boston end, and he'll get a change of players going.
I'll tell you, though, if you're Jacob Trouba, and I say go ahead and respond however you want. That guy seems to have a golden ticket, doesn't he?
Yep. On the near boards, Reeves trying to play it in. Knocked away. A good hit there. Sent Laco sprawling as the Bruins send it down into the Toronto zone. Morgan Riley for David Camp. Up to Noah Gregor. Rink-wide feed too far for Brody to jump into the rush. And the Bruins have it back in their own end. 1-0 Boston. Off a stick and into the Toronto zone. Wall out of the goal to scoop it around for Morgan Riley to get it up on that far wing, but it doesn't connect. Back come the Bruins on the left wing side, up on that far wing, but it doesn't connect. Back come the Bruins on the left wing side to keep it into the corner. Punching it along is Lindholm. Leafs take it away. Brody with some room. Bank pass to center. Intercepted by Lindholm. Played off onto the right wing side. Bruins back in with a shot. That was stopped. Pasternak letting it go. Comes back to the point to Lindholm once more. Now into the right wing corner looking for Zacha. Zacha back to Lindholm. To Pasternak, a drive. Oh, and he whistled that, and it bounces out at center ice. The Leafs are going to get it down into the Boston end.
Boy, Ryan Reeves has to get off. That's a long shift.
Played in over the line now by Toronto. Tavares works it back into the corner for Marner. Around too far for the outstretched reach of Bertuzzi. Marner comes out of the corner with it. They bang away at it, and down goes Bertuzzi, but the puck goes to the far wing, and the Bruins are going to get it elevated into the center ice zone. Brought back now by Jake McCabe. Nice move to gain the zone. Off the skate of Marner, didn't see it. That's drawing a crowd. Lagesson got tied up, brought in by Heinen. Bruins get it around back of the net. Heinen one-hands it to the point. Now a shot deflected right on. Still free in front of that goal. They're banging away at it, and it's cleared finally into the corner. Heinen loses it to Marner. Marner to center. Playing it off the boards to himself in the Boston end, but can't get there ahead of Brandon Carlo, and the Bruins will start back. Long shoot in. Wall couldn't slow it up. Lagesson sends it in front of his own goal, and a shot went wide. The rebound corralled by Boston in the near corner. Trying to come out with it is Poitras. Poitras sends a shot towards the blue line, or from the blue line, but it was knocked back out into neutral ice. Frederick back in for Boston. Most of this period's been played down in the Leaf end thus far. We're closing in on 6 minutes. Launched into Boston territory now by Toronto, who still lead 12-9 in the shots, but trail 1-0 in the game. Puck comes free. Matthews to the point. Brody with a shot coming. That deflected in front, but it slowed it up enough that Olmark was able to make a move on that puck and then able to cover up on it.
Yeah, it slowed it down quite a bit. By the way, with a goal by David Pasternak. Since the start of the 2018-19 season, Pasternak now has 183 goals in 295 games, which is the fourth most in the league, behind Austin Matthews, Leon Draisaitl, and Connor McDavid.
I was going to suggest that. Now,
it's pretty good.
And Willie Nylander, I think you're looking at Pasternak kind of money and term, are you not? Isn't that a fair assessment of where he is? We got a scrum going on in the, hang on here. Max Domi being escorted over to the near board by one of the Bruins. Nothing more. Sorry.
Well, I mean, Pasternak and Nylander are much like Pasternak. And I think same money would be just, as long as he might be able to throw in a couple of Stanley Cup championships along the way as well. But Pasternak's an absolute stud.
1-0 Boston. Pasternak has the goal. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why they've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Unhibernate, verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate by visiting my local Subaru dealer for a holiday bonus. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
You're listening to Toronto
Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in.
Was tied up, and Marchand starts down the left wing. Good play by Matthews to break up the net. Was tied up, and Marchand starts down the left wing. Good play by Matthews to break up the rush. Bruins will shoot it in now, and it's around back of the Toronto goal. Wall to the near side. Timmins. A lead pass to center to Nylander up on the left wing. It goes. Matthews drops for Nylander, who doesn't shoot it. He takes it around back of the net. Centers in front. And it is whipped wide of the goal on that far side by Nyes. Leafs in the corner. Playing it around into the near side now. And the Bruins get it out. And to the line. Pasternak couldn't handle it. It's played back down into Boston territory. Ullmark trying to play it ahead for Pasternak, and Nylander stripped it away, but now DeBrusk works back in on the left wing, a shot and a pad save made there by Joseph Wall. Bruins keep it in. Pasternak in front of the goalie, score! Kevin Shattenkirk jumps in from the point, and Pasternak spotted him. He was unmarked, and it's 2-0 Boston.
Well, Matthew Nyes got caught out on a long shift and kind of got sucked into the middle of the ice and had no idea that the defenseman 20 feet to his left had taken off for the front of the net. And the Leafs, after having some decent pressure with the Matthews line, including an opportunity by Matthew Nyes, Leafs now find themselves in a familiar spot with the Bruins down 2-0. But I mean, this is just, it's a skilled play, but Shattenkirk.
That winger has to stay with him.
Yeah, it was Matthew Nyes, but what a pass by Pasternak and what a finish by Kevin Shattenkirk.
7:31, the time of the goal.
Only 11 shots for the Bruins, but good enough for a 2-0 lead.
And as was the case in Boston in the first meeting, the Bruins have the first 2 goals of the hockey game. Launched high to center ice. Reeves sends it down into the Boston zone. Scooped aside by Ullmark. Reeves gets a pretty decent hit in on the defenseman, but it is cleared out and then back into Boston territory. Jake DeBrusk will get the additional assist. Puck now in the Toronto zone, centered into the slot area, and didn't reach its intended target. Kept alive by Trent Frederick. Frederick along the boards has it knocked away. The Leafs will play it into the far corner. Lagesson hustling to it, but can't make a play. He just pushed it up the wall a little further. Frederick against the boards has it taken away by Lagesson. Now Camp trying to find another opportunity to play it around back of the net. The Bruins get it back to the point and keep it in. Boston's DeBrusk sending it along the boards. They get another change going. Here's a chance for DeBrusk driving the net and on goal. And that was kicked aside there by Wall. DeBrusk with it again. Back into the slot area. Bruins changing here on a tired fourth line of the Leafs. And it's knocked away. Played back to the blue line, and it's going to come out at center ice.
Boy, Leafs just hanging on here in the second period.
DeBrusk got it in over the line into the corner. Pasternak trying to jam it in front of the net and had it knocked away. Tavares starts back up ice for Toronto. Plays to an open wing to allow him to get a change of players going. And the puck is in zone. A lead pass trying to spring Bertuzzi, and he was taken down, but no call. Tavares works into the corner. Bertuzzi can't swat it in front of the net. Great pass to Bertuzzi, but he seemed to just be taken down there before he got a chance to play it at net. Now the Leafs bring it back in with Timmins. Into the slot area, back pass into the slot for Timmins, and it bounced away from him. Bruins get it out at center. Morgan Geekie trying to drive on the defense of Benoit. That didn't work. Benoit against the boards, but the Bruins come out with the loose puck. Geekie has it taken away. Leafs at the blue line. Bertuzzi hack, slashing and whacking, and they don't get it out. Boston in the slot. Good play by Bertuzzi to tie up his man. And Max Domi trying to find some skating room. Gets it to Benoit, who's going to launch it into Boston territory. Benoit getting tangled up there, and Timmins slams into a Boston player as they try to change. Bruins back into the Leaf end. 2-0 Bruins here. We're halfway through the game. 2-0 Bruins here. We're halfway through the game. Morgan Riley for Domi. Pass off Riley. For Domi. Pass off Yarncrook's skate. Bruins come out with it. In across the line, a shot. Big pad save made there by Wall. Morgan Riley to an open wing. Grabbed off by Yarncrook. Yarncrook will just flip it into neutral ice. And Boston has it again. Marchand up on the left wing now. Here's Heinen in, trying to drive the net. Marchand with a shot and a good into neutral ice. And Boston has it again. Marchand up on the left wing now. Here's Heinen in, trying to drive the net. Marchand with a shot and a good pad save made again by Joe Wall. Leafs against the boards with Robertson nailed and knocked to the ice. Grzelcyk will shoot it back into Toronto territory. And a delayed offside being called here by the linesman allows the Leafs to get a change going themselves. Matthews snaps it in. Round on the far side for Nyes. Replayed around back of the net. Chipped up on the wing. McCabe pinched but didn't get the puck. Back out at center ice it comes. Van Riemsdyk. Back out at center ice it comes. Van Riemsdyk. Too well covered for Boston. Leafs against the boards just do get it out at center. And here's Nyes trying to bring it in over the line. Bowled over his man, but the puck didn't go into the zone. Now it's shot in. Matthews on the far boards. Tied up there. Puck comes back to the point. Shot in traffic right on. A big rebound in front. And it's taken to safety there by Boston. Leafs keep the puck in though. Centering pass for Nyes. That is stopped down. The rebound scores! Austin Matthews. I think Ullmark thought he had it underneath him. And when it squirted free, there was no one there tending the 4x6.
I think Nylander was the first one to the loose puck and rattled it off the post before it bounced behind Ullmark and out the other side. Nyes with the first attempt, Nylander with the second, and Austin Matthews, with only Charlie McAvoy standing on the goal line, is able to snap it into the empty cage and get the Leafs back into this game. 2-1 Boston. And for Matthews, that is now his 10th goal in 10 games against Linus Ullmark, which is stats combined between Ullmark's time with the Buffalo Sabres and Boston Bruins. For Matthews, it's also his 11th goal in 17 career games against the Bruins.
And it ends a 4-game drought for Matthews as far as goal scoring is concerned. Played down into the Toronto zone. Riley swinging it around to the far side to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi a pass in on the right side. Knocked down into the corner there by Brody. Now here's Marner playing it back to the far point. Riley holds. He'll just saucer it back in for Marner, but it was knocked away, and the Leafs have to come back to center. Nylander and Nyes assisting on the Matthews goal. And the Leafs are back into it. What was that record? I've forgotten it already. The last time the Leafs were shut out.
It's now 165 regular season games.
And counting. Oh, glad we got it in when we did. Here's a shot then by Marchand. Off a skate, into the corner. Relayed up off a stick and out of play. And a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. So Nylander and Mize are able to gain the assist, and Matthews 15th of the season has the Leafs on the board. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Wednesday, December 6th, it's the News Nation Republican primary debate, moderated by Sirius XM's Megan Kelly.
One of the candidates standing on stage could be our next commander-in-chief.
Along with News Nation's Elizabeth Vargas and the Washington Free Beacon's Ileana Johnson.
After I co-moderate this debate, stick around for my special Megan Kelly Show episode live. I'll see you there.
Wednesday, December 6th, 8 p.m. Eastern on Triumph Channel 111 and News Nation. To find News Nation, go to joinnn.com.
24/7 hockey talk.
My boy Brady Tkachuk fired up, said what he wanted to say. I love when a captain comes out like that and sticks up for his team. Listen, the fans of Ottawa, they paid their hard-earned money to get in there. I guess if they want to boo, they can boo. I love Brady sticking up for his guys. But Brady Tkachuk, good for you. Say how you feel. Plays hard on and off the ice. Cooley, I love that kid.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
George McPhee on the Vegas Golden Knights. Give us a sense as to what you and Kelly were thinking in terms of this season's roster.
The team overall is in pretty darn good shape. It's sort of in our prime. This team wants to be some kind of legacy team where you can win a couple of Stanley Cup. That's the challenge that you present to the players.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles for the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Boston 2. The Maple Leafs 1. 6:48 left to play in the second period. Going to go out and watch some junior hockey tomorrow in Mississauga. Sudbury Wolves are there against the Steelheads. You know Elliot Kerr.
Yes. Haven't seen him in years.
Yeah, well, he's running the entire operation out there. Leafs knock it to the blue line and out. Racing after it now over the line and trying to send it around the boards was Bertuzzi. It comes down the wall now for Camp. Camp in against Gregor, trying to free it up and played up on the left wing. Now Yarncrook out on the line here on the fourth line with Camp in against Gregor, trying to free it up and played up on the left wing. Now Yarncrook out on the line here on the fourth line. Yarncrook out on the line here on the fourth line with Gregor and Camp.
It seems to be how if they're going to put the Camp line or the fourth line on a defensive zone face-off, they'll use Yarncrook instead of Ryan Reeves. Offensive zone, Reeves gets out.
Played up on the right wing side, brought in by Nylander. Nice stretch there by Matthews to try to remain on side. Pass, though, intercepted. Nyes ties up his man on the near boards. They battle for it with Oscar Steen. It's at the point with Brody. He sent it to the net. Oh, and a nice deflection there by Nylander. But Ullmark was in good position to make the save. Steen, it's at the point with Brody. He sent it to the net. Oh, and a nice deflection there by Nylander. But Ullmark was in good position to make the save. That might have been his toughest save right there, Ralphie.
And very nearly stuck 5-hole on him.
Did it ever. Played out and down the ice, but it was touched by a Bruin heading to the bench. So instead of too many men on the ice, the Leafs just aren't charged with an icing. Here's Forbert.
Yeah, that'll teach them. Now, they didn't touch the puck when it went by.
Now, a shot from a sharp angle as the goaltender was out of his crease after playing it around the boards, and Ullmark kind of nonchalanted it back into it and almost paid for it dearly. Long shoot in now. He'll come out and field that fair catch and hold on. I wonder where is he?
Well, he missed his defenseman who was in the far corner opposite of him. And then he looked like a soccer goalie in a penalty kick trying to get back, didn't he? But the Leafs were unable to take advantage of the empty net.
2-1 Boston with the lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. What makes a great gift? Well, I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. A gift they can eat, definitely. And if they like to share, a gift you can eat too. Well, that settles it. Our Great Canadian Meat salami and pepperoni sticks are the perfect gift and a perfect addition to your charcuterie board. Pick up Great Canadian Meat at our store in Whitby or online at greatcanadianmeat.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
What a brilliant move by Willie Nylander, and we have a tie game.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Charlie Coyle will take the face-off against Max Domi. I got to admit, if I'm a Leaf fan, well, I guess I am, it's nice not to have Bergeron out there for every defensive zone face-off, and the Leafs here have controlled this one. Domi into the corner, had it knocked off his stick, and it's pushed out into neutral ice, and the Bruins will flip it down into the Toronto zone, courtesy of Marchand. The puck around back of the net. Heinen got it into the corner, had it come back to him, tied up there by Timmins. Marchand gets it to the point, a long shot, high, snared before Coyle could get there to do any damage by Joseph Wall. Face-off coming in the Toronto zone. 23 shots for the Leafs, 15 for the Boston Bruins, but the Bruins have one goal more. It's 2-1.
Going back to the face-offs, the Leafs have won 61% of the draws. That was a little harder to do with Bergeron around. Although Charlie Coyle, by the way, 9 goals on the year, 8 goals in the month of November, which is a career high for him for a single month.
Leafs control this face-off, and now Yarncrook starts away. At the red line, dumped into the near corner. Actually, not the near corner so much as the near corner of the rink. It missed the glass and ends up going out of play. Face-off coming back to center ice.
And with this center ice draw, moving on out, well, Sheldon Keefe is going back with Kelly Yarncroc on the line with David Kampf and Noah Gregor.
Matthew Poitras, a youngster from Whitby, took the face-off. He won the Minto Cup as the captain of the Whitby Warriors in 2022. You know, Paul Hendrick, our good friend, and myself, and Brian Shanahan did those games, and we had a blast doing them. And I'll tell you, Poitras may be a better lacrosse player than he is a hockey player. They just don't pay as well. Leafs flip it down into the Boston zone. Grzelcyk got it out at center. In on the right wing side. Poitras trying to pull up. Pass went off a skate. DeBrusk couldn't come away with it. Now Poitras centers, but it was blocked by the body of Benoit. And Austin Matthews now with a saucered pass ahead for Nylander. He's going to circle back, but being mirrored there by DeBrusk. Now Benoit off the Nye stick into Boston territory. Hampus Lindholm will ring the boards with it, and Matthews couldn't trap it. The Bruins get it back out at center. Couldn't trap it. The Bruins get it back out at center. Nyes completely overskated the puck. Bruins take advantage. Zacha centers, and a drive by Pasternak was stopped by Wall. The puck goes high in the air, not out yet. Bruins keep it in. Left wing side now for Zacha. Centering pass. Still free. Morgan Rielly is able to get it out and look for a breakaway pass for Nylander, but it was intercepted. A centering pass. Still free. Morgan Rielly is able to get it out and look for a breakaway pass for Nylander, but it was intercepted. Shot back into the Toronto territory. Nylander, but it was intercepted. Shot back into the Toronto territory. All of that started with Matthew Nyes overskating the puck right near the blue line to get it out. Here's Tavares rolling it in front. Nyes with a backhand knocked down in front of the Boston goal. Bruins come away with it. Zacha is able to get it out with a pass at center. It'll be backhanded then into the Toronto end. McCabe standing up Pasternak with a fairly good hit. Brought back at center now by Tavares. Trying to stick handle through three. Gets into the corner after it. Rampage. Brought back at center now by Tavares. Trying to stick handle through three. Gets into the corner after it. Rampaging in there is Bertuzzi as well. Leafs are able to get a turnover. There's a shot taken by the captain that was blocked. He gets another opportunity. Played to the near boards. Dropped it back. Kept in front of the net. A pass for Bertuzzi to Tavares. Didn't quite connect. Good play by Marner to keep it in, though. Marner trying to play it in front. Tavares has gone to the bench. Played off the boards by the Bruins to center ice. The Leafs play to an open wing, and it's Bertuzzi bringing it in into the top of the circles. Plays it around back of the net for Marner into the corner for Domi. Domi back for Marner. Marner looking for Bertuzzi. Too well covered. Bertuzzi has the puck, but he swings it around the wall and not going to be able to keep it. Is it around the wall and not going to be able to keep it in as Connor Timmins. Leafs back in the center ice area, complete their change. And across the line is Yarncrook, who's been double-teamed, double-teamed, I suppose, on the two lines.
Double shifted.
That even better. I love that terminology. Let's stick with that.
It's just what I like to do as a color commentator, Joe.
Yeah, fill in the blanks. Played off the bars on the far side. And with me, there are a lot of blanks. There's a shot that is deflected into the corner off of Marchand. Back to the blue line and played into the corner, back of the net for Danton. Trying to come out with it is Heinen and sent in front of the net, a scramble, and the puck went wide. Minute to go, less than a minute now in the second period. Bruins Coyle getting it back to the point. Long shot off a body into the far corner. Heinen after it for Boston. Top of the circles with a shot. Blockered away nicely there by Wall. Taken to safety by Yarncrook. And now Connor Timmins, with both teams trying to change, takes his time and just alley-oops the puck down into Boston territory. 24 seconds left in the period. Both teams have scored in the second stanza. Broken up by Nylander. Weaving in on the left wing with a pass in on goal. And it was too close to goaltender Olmark, who's able to cover up on it and hold for a face-off.
After Willie Nylander breaks the Boston rush up right at the Leaf blue line, middle of the ice. Takes it, and then by the time he has Bruins all over him, he's at the top of the left wing circle and lobbed one to the front of the net that the Leafs couldn't take advantage of. 11.3 seconds to go here in the second period, and the Matthews line out to take the draw in the Boston zone.
Nyes and Nylander with him. And the Bruins, Coyle wins the draw cleanly. Boston in its own zone, slowly to center. Marchand in on the right wing, and a shot will be deflected wide, and that will end the period. So the teams trade goals in the second stanza, but an opening 1-0 lead from Pasternak is still the difference. Shattenkirk scoring for Boston to make it 2-0. Matthews with his 15th from Nylander and Nyes at 12:06 to get the Leafs on the board.
Even though they win in the second period, I agree with you. Where the Leafs really were the team that was holding on for much of the period. But it seemed once the Bruins got the second goal to go up 2-0, the Leafs had to push back, and that was good enough for the Matthews goal to make it 2-1.
So we will step aside. Eilif Forfar and Justin Cuthbert are coming along with our second period intermission. The Leafs with a deficit to climb, trailing 2-1 after 40 minutes. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The really good organizations that have had sustained success, there is continuity and consistency and leadership in those chairs.
When it happens in the NFL, we're reacting to it on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, they gave us an instant classic.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
From the Jaguar locker room is wide receiver Christian Kirk.
This is a must-win for us, and we prepared like that all week.
Nobody covers the game like SiriusXM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Speaking as someone who grew up an Islander fan, you're not good enough to win now. You've got no prospects for the future, and you're not bad enough to get like the lottery pick. So we're just going to watch the Islanders float in the hockey abyss indefinitely until someone in the organization acknowledges that what they have is broken. And I don't think anyone's going to do that.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Brian Burke.
But now it's a big story. Headline, Johnny Gaudreau bench. But he's not playing that well. His stats are terrible, and he's not playing that well. They sat him out. Now, he had the right response. He said, I got to play better. And that's all it is. Same thing here. You're playing Gaudreau bench, but he's not playing that well. His stats are terrible, and he's not playing that well. They sat him out. Now, he had the right response. He said, I got to play better. And that's all it is. Same thing here. You're playing poorly, you get benched. Shut up and work harder.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
My boy Brady Tkachuk fired up, said what he wanted to say.
And the SiriusXM app.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
My boy Brady Tkachuk fired up, said what he wanted to say. I love when a captain comes out like that and sticks up for his team. Listen, the fans of Ottawa, they paid their hard-earned money to get in there. I guess if they want to boo, they can boo. I love Brady sticking up for his guys. But Brady Tkachuk, good for you. Say how you feel. Plays hard on and off the ice. Cooley, I love that kid.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
George McPhee on the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a sense as to what you and Kelly were thinking in terms of this season's roster.
The team overall is in pretty darn good shape. The team overall is in pretty darn good shape. Sort of in our prime, this team wants to be some kind of legacy team where you can win a couple of Stanley Cup. That's the challenge that you present to the players.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m.
They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
best? What?
Link for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here with you. The second intermission, 2-1 for the Boston Bruins after 40 minutes. Shots are 24 for the Maple Leafs and 20 for the Bruins. But if you look at the Deservo-meter on moneypuck.com, the Maple Leafs deserve 74.3% over the 25.8 for the Bruins to deserve to win this game.
Yeah, apparently.
So that's all you need to know.
I mean, there is a thing called score effects. When you're chasing the game a little bit, you might have the opportunity to get a couple more expected goals into the old chart there. But, yeah, I think the Maple Leafs have been pretty good. But, again, we've been talking about David Pastrnak, Austin Matthews. It's 2-1. Pastrnak over Matthews. Matthews scoring a goal, but two really great plays by David Pastrnak is the difference in the game so far. I'm not going to say that the Leafs are going to lose in a shootout, but this game is playing out very close to what we saw about a month ago when they played in Boston. The Bruins were up 2-0 in the second period. A goal from Austin Matthews and one more from Mitch Marner tied it. They played a scoreless third period. Maybe we're headed towards that, with the Maple Leafs erasing another potential deficit here. But, yeah, they're going to have to get that goal, not in the second period, in the third period, if we're going to see another overtime
it's starting to smell like OT and shootout in this barn.
And like, the Leafs are pushing there late in the second, too, and looking pretty good. I've liked their efforts. It's been inspired, or at least more inspired, from the second compared to the first. And they're throwing their weight around, too. Quite a few hits, especially from the likes of Jake McCabe, Simone Benoit, and Ryan Reeves.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit more physical. I believe after that goal by Austin Matthews, I felt like a different push, and it shouldn't take a goal for the team to get ignited, but they started putting the puck on the net more. It looked like they were getting a little bit more composed and poised with it. But, I mean, sometimes you just need that one to go in. I mean, you're playing against Vezina caliber goaltenders. Not that they've put too many, like, really tough ones on net, but they had a couple posts. They had one trickle through the crease. Like, they have been close. So getting one on net, whether it was a messy one or not, might help the Maple Leafs just feel like they are more in control. A 2-1 game versus 2-0. Hey, 2-1 leads are the worst in hockey. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, or whatever lead the Boston.
I'm manifesting it, you know?
Yeah, first in 5 games for Austin Matthews. Rang one off the post early in the second period, so it was a good period for Austin Matthews. And we're talking a lot about this. Like, he's going through a little bit of a goal-scoring funk. If Mitch Marner wakes up midweek and Austin Matthews wakes up over the weekend, this team's going to look pretty scary offensively.
So you wrote a note in here earlier that the Leafs have only 13 goal scorers this season. Only the Sharks have fewer with 12. They had 29 goal scorers last season. 13 goal scorers is kind of the issue that the Maple Leafs have faced for a long time, like lack of scoring depth, core four this, core four that. But this is when having somebody else put the puck in the net would be great. Like Matthews got one today for the first time in 5 games, but last time it was all Mitch Marner. It was the William Nylander month, right? So looking for a little bit more depth here in terms of putting the puck in the net. It's not a great stat to have. I mean, it speaks highly that your top guys can do that, but that's kind of the way the Maple Leafs are built, right?
It sounds probably worse than it is. I mean, 13, you're skating 18 skaters per night, and they haven't had too many injuries.
Hey, there was a goalie goal the other night, so
there you go. That's definitely an advantage.
Saros can score
that the Maple Leafs don't have. But yeah, I mean, they've had. You're not counting on these depth defensemen for goals. Generally, it'd be nice if they could put one in. But yeah, the onus has been on the top group for sure, and it continues to be. Doesn't help that the third line center's still searching for an offensive breakout himself. But yeah, we know this about this team. Even if they had 29 last year, it meant there are a lot of moving bodies. And just this year, it's pretty clear who needs to score the goals. Pretty clear who's going to have to score the goals in the third period as well.
Okay, well, we'll take a quick break here. We'll be back with a couple more thoughts before the third period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The stars.
Austin Matthews.
The skills.
Oh, this is a good one.
The six.
Beautiful city of Toronto.
Hockey fans, the Rogers NHL All-Star Game is coming to Toronto.
Be part of the action at the Hyundai NHL Fan Fair, February 1st through the 4th. Hockey fans, the Rogers NHL All-Star Game is coming to Toronto. Be part of the action at the Hyundai NHL Fan Fair, February 1st through the 4th at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. Take your picture with the Stanley Cup, meet NHL All-Stars and alumni, play hockey games, party with the NHL mascots, and much more. Buy tickets now at nhl.com/fanfare tickets.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian in Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Hugh Heron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick single-family homes come with a long list of features you've always dreamed of. Gourmet kitchens, freestanding tubs, and even fully finished lower levels. Dare to compare and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like solivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus. There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like solivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer for a holiday bonus. And welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. What makes a great gift? Well, I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. A gift they can eat? Definitely. And if they like to share, a gift you can eat too. Well, that settles it. Our Great Canadian Meat salami and pepperoni sticks are the perfect gift and a perfect addition to your charcuterie board. Pick up Great Canadian Meat at our store in Whitby or online at greatcanadianmeat.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, the Fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs trail 2-1 after 40 minutes here at Scotiabank Arena to the Boston Bruins. The big bad Bruins in town. An Original 6, a hockey night in Canada Saturday night. Lots of time left. And Frege out on Hockey Night in Canada on Sportsnet was giving us some intermission ponderings. So Elliot Friedman says on Hockey Night in Canada that the Leafs and Flames couldn't come to a deal on Tanev and Zadorov due to retention, but says Toronto could still trade for Tanev, but it would still involve retention. So they're still in the Tanev sweepstakes, still looking to poach from their former team. Brad Treliving looking to make a deal with the Calgary Flames, possibly. And I'm sure a lot of other teams are interested in some of their defensemen, but don't mark Toronto out of it just because they miss out on Zadorov.
Yep, still a high chance that the Maple Leafs will go out and get a defenseman. I don't know if there's...
High chance? It better be 100% chance.
Yeah, well, there's going to be some return to health from some key players, but yeah, they need help back there. I'm not convinced, though, that they need help in goal. We were talking about Joseph Woll all throughout this broadcast, and you brought up the deserve to win meter, so maybe it hasn't been the hardest game for him in terms of what he's facing, but when compared to Samsonov, Woll has had a way more difficult workload. More shots, more slot shots, more rush chances, more cycle chances, way more all by rate. Expected goals a full goal higher. Boston Bruins maybe not putting up the expected goals in this game to the extent that maybe Woll's seen all year, but Woll continues to meet every challenge. I think he's been good again tonight, and the Bruins are a really, really difficult team to deal with. So I think while stringing, although we're not to the finish line yet, another good start here despite the Maple Leafs.
Has he just played harder teams, or it's just like a weird coincidence that they're
maybe
just
the
getting
Leafs
better
have
shots?
Played worse in front of him.
Like better offensive teams. Leafs have been struggling defensively at higher rates when he's in net, but he's shouldered it pretty well for a young kid. A tweet from our guy Luke Fox at Sportsnet, of course. Sheldon Keefe lightly challenged both Austin Matthews and William Nylander to up their game this morning. Toronto outshooting Boston 13-3 when Nyes, Matthews, and Nylander are on the ice tonight. So,
say lightly challenged?
He said, quote, lightly challenged.
Lightly challenged.
So he didn't get in their face like he did the other night when we had that viral clip, but he challenged them a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's been another narrative around this market is like, how far can you challenge these guys? I think the key word might be lightly there, but I think they deserved a light challenge given how they've played the last month or so.
All right, let's take a look around the NHL here. The NHL scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
As mentioned, there's a couple finals in the book already. Dallas beating Tampa 8-1. Jets beat the Blackhawks 3-1. Rangers stay hot 4-3 over the Predators. And the Islanders got a 4-3 win over. Beat the Blackhawks 3-1. Rangers stay hot 4-3 over the Predators. And the Islanders got a 4-3 win over the Panthers. Ongoing, Detroit's up 4-2 on Montreal. Ottawa up 2-0 on the Kraken. 5-0 Hurricanes over the Sabres.
Holy,
Sabres can't get it going.
Poor Sabres.
And the Battle of Pennsylvania, as advertised on this very broadcast, still knotted at
1-1. Penguins will be in town here in about a week or so, 2 weeks. We'll see the Kyle Dubas return. It's another Saturday night game, so keep your eyes on what the Penguins do in the next little while, because that will always be interesting. All right, so Leafs trailing 2-1 here going into the third period. Need a goal at least to send us to their favorite time of year, which is overtime and a shootout. We'll see how this one plays out. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Flow. From your first heartbreak, your first...
Boston Bruins. Well, they have been outstanding at shutting things down. I mean, when you get team goals against average at times hovering around 2 during the regular season, you know you're pretty good at shutting things down for a lead. And as we said, even, you know, you go to the numbers when the Bruins score first as opposed to when they give up the first goal. It's an outstanding stat as well.
Leafs out shooting the Bruins 23-18, and when the Matthews line has been on, they've outshot the Bruins 13-3. Matthews has the Leaf goal as it's cleared down into the Toronto end right off the hop, and now in back of the goal up against the boards. Dug out by the captain, and Tavares starts away at center. Got it ahead for Marner, and across the line he comes. Marner swinging it on the backhand to the far corner. Brody pinches to keep it in. Chop that there, and it comes back to Lagesson, rather, not Brody. Lagesson getting it to Marner. Marner can't find a man. Tavares leaves it now for Bertuzzi, who lost it, and the Bruins are going to get it out. Marner has stolen it back. Change is coming for Toronto. Bertuzzi flips it back and now peels to the bench himself. Morgan Rielly starting out for Toronto. He gets it to Matthews, who dumps it into the Boston end. Bruins back to the goal, swinging it around is Lindholm, and the Bruins can't get it out initially. Grabbed again by McAvoy, and now this time they do get it to the Toronto blue line. Willie Nylander is there. Took it back deeper into his own zone. Morgan Rielly starts down the left wing. Got it to the blue line. Nyes chops it in over the line and into the far corner. Matthews playing it back along for Nylander. Back of the net, near side for Nyes. Nicely played by Nyes, but he gets double-teamed. Puck squirts free. Leafs get it back to the point, but it's out of the reach of Rielly and is slid all the way back into the Toronto end. Morgan Rielly back of the goal. Broke his stick while stick handling with it. Now that's just bad equipment. I don't care what you say. It goes down into the corner again.
Pretty good luck, though, not to have any Bruin right on him.
Exactly. It snapped mid-shaft. Played along the boards. I know you get a lot more torque and everything else with these sticks, but the good old wooden ones. As the Leafs get a turnover and a pass ahead. Robertson in front of the net. Domi scores! Holy mackerel! Max Domi ties the game with his first in a Leaf uniform. He scores! Holy mackerel! Max Domi ties the game with his first in a Leaf uniform.
Kevin Shattenkirk scored the second goal for the Bruins, but is responsible for the giveaway here. And Max Domi finished it off in a very similar way that Shattenkirk did in the second period, with just a great move. Forehand, backhand. As Max Domi picks it up, and forehand, backhand. As Max Domi picks it up on a pass from the right wing side. Domi's going to the net, partially blocked by Shattenkirk, and Domi goes forehand, backhand. Just a quick move, and then elevates it to tie this game at 2.
And the response to the young man who grew up in the dressing room of this building.
Shattenkirk had the giveaway earlier that allowed the Leafs to take off on the odd man rush.
Well, I'm sure Mom and Dad are pretty happy about this, but the Leafs are as well. Well, I'm sure Mom and Dad are pretty happy about this, but the Leafs are as well, as they have tied the game at 2s. Bruins with a 3-on-2 rush in over the line. Oscar Steen sent it towards the net and deflected wide. Bruins with it back to the point once more. McAvoy closes, got a weak shot away and went wide. He goes after it back of the net, trying to come out with a pass. It was marked. Another shot went wide, and the rebound's going to carry him to the point, but not out. Bruins keeping it in. Lagesson battles back to the goal. Tavares is able to come out of the scrum with it. And the Leaf captain makes a nifty move to gain center. He now circles back, needing a change themselves. And the Leaf captain makes a nifty move to gain center. He now circles back, needing a change themselves. Okay, I'm a little biased here. That's my favorite goal of the season, Mr. Ralph, right there thus far. I'm really happy for that young man. Played down into the Leaf end.
My favorite goal will be his next one if it comes in this period.
Played along the boards and just tipped out into the center ice area.
Now Max did have 7 assists in the last 10 games coming in. So
no, the points were there. That line has been going really well. But then to have it happen like that, good for him. Here's Nylander, cycling it back into the corner, out of the reach of David Camp. Leafs are changing, and now here the Bruins getting it out. Pasternak. A return feed from Marchand. Trying to slip through, goes over to the left wing side for Coyle. Back to the point. Fed back around the boards then by Forbert. Leafs cut it off. Matthews punching it ahead. Rink wide feed. Nylander trying to go wide on the defense. Yes, no. The defense rest on Charlie McAvoy. He had his hands up in the air as if I'm doing nothing here. And the officiating, or the judge in this case.
Well, he's only had 2 minors called. McAvoy was one of them for hooking.
Paid down into the Boston end by Matthews. Chip to the blue line and out. Bruins with it in the neutral zone. Stolen back by Yarncrook. Here's Domi back in. Trying to get a shot away and had it knocked off his stick, and it's cleared out at center ice. Right back in comes Morgan Riley. Trying to flip it in front of the net. Gloved down by a defender. Good play by Riley to keep it in. And he sent a shot wide of the net. Robertson looking for help. Gets it into the corner to Domi. Domi slid it around back of the net to Morgan Riley. Riley returns the favor. Domi won't get there in time, and it is chipped out at center ice now by Oscar Steen. The Leafs 2 and the Bruins 2. Riley turns at his own blue line. Off a skate, cut off by Boston. Bruins counter. DeBrusque gets it in over the line, and it rolls wide of the Leaf goal. Centered in front of the net. Big save by Wall. I think it was his own man, Tavares, who may have backhanded it at him. Bruins with it in the corner. Around the boards for Pasternak. Broken up by the Maple Leafs and brought out by Marner to center. Marner's bank pass. Bertuzzi into the corner. That back of the net, they battle for it on the end boards. Robertson and Yarncrook assisting on the goal from Max Domi. Played around back of the net. Tavares tried to center, but it was blocked. Then he took down his man, and they've avoided a penalty there. And we get an offside at the Toronto blue line.
You know, the Leafs get what they want, the equalizer. Early on, and they've been pressing. Oh, the Bruins they don't need much time and space, do they, to create offense at the other end. But 2-2, Leafs and Bruins.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The push for the fantasy football playoffs is on Fantasy Sports Radio. Wow! Unbelievable! Don't make the wrong roster move. Don't start the wrong player. Don't make the mistake that will cost you a win.
Sam Laporta has been consistently good.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Sam Laporta! Whether you're jockeying for playoff positioning or need a win to secure your spot, get expert advice on Fantasy Sports Radio. Sirius XM 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Brian Burke.
But now it's a big story. Headline, Johnny Gaudreau bench. But he's not playing that well. His stats are terrible, and he's not playing that well. They sat him out. Now, he had the right response. He said, I got to play better. And that's all it is. Same thing here. You're playing poorly, you get benched. Shut up and work harder.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail. Teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
It's Radio Network.
This little gem from our very good friend Lanceroux Hornby of the Toronto Sun. That was 6,454 days between Domi goals. That was 6,454 days between Domi goals.
Yeah, I already did that.
No, you didn't.
I figured it out. I didn't use it.
Well, Ty's last goal was April 1st, 2006. That was his last goal. So 6,454 days later, another Domi scored, all right?
I would have had it by Thursday.
You keep your old calendars?
That's all I got.
Bouncing puck in front. The backhand went off the crossbar and has gone to the left wing side. Bruins centering in front of the net. It goes wide of the net. Domi comes up with it. He's going to get it airmailed out and down the ice. It's rolling on. Up with it. He's going to get it airmailed out and down the ice. It's rolling on edge and is going to be an icing call.
I mean, this was like a horse race. And the leader in the race has two broken legs trying to get back to touch the puck up. The linesman was with him. You know when the linesman could have beat you there by 12 seconds?
No,
that maybe you could have waved it off.
You know, they don't get a chance to sit on the bench. They're out there for the whole game skating. So the face-off to the right of Wall. Domi to take the draw. Pavel. So the face-off to the right of Wall. Domi to take the draw. Pavel Zacha leaning in for Boston and won it. And then a shot was blocked, and the Leafs feather it out into neutral ice and get two players exchanged. Yarncrook is up forechecking. And now the Bruins deflect it down into the Toronto zone. Timmins, nice behind the back pass off the inboards to spring his defense partner Benoit. Played to the line, and here's Matthews in. Matthews with a shot, and glove save made by Linus Ullmark to stop play and bring a face-off in the Boston zone.
That's like you love to see, the classic Austin Matthews, that little toe drag to change the angle.
In the Boston zone.
That's like you love to see, the classic Austin Matthews, that little toe drag to change the angle.
And get it by a defender.
Yeah, then rifle it through the legs of the defenseman, but Linus Ullmark was able to track it perfectly and snag it out of midair.
Face off to the right in the Boston zone. 12:45 left, third period. Leafs 2, Bruins 2. Draw is scrummed, but controlled by Nyes into the far corner. Brody got it back from Matthews. He sends it into the near corner. Nyes couldn't get to it, but Nylander does. Centering pass, Matthews! Oh, and the stick of Charlie Coyle. And I mean not a lot of it. Just the tip got to this shot and deflects it up into the screen.
Great job in the forecheck by this trio. Matthew Nyes was the Leaf that was able to force the turnover and get it out into the high slot under the stick of Matthews.
Draw to the right of Ullmark again. Matthews has been banished, and Nylander will move in. And won the draw cleanly. Goes to it himself, but overskated it. Coyle gets it ahead. Marchand in over the line and into the corner. Now Marchand being chased hard. Knocked down on the play. Leafs are able to get it ahead for Matthew Nyes. Nyes to Nylander. Nylander an alley-oop into the corner. Matthews forechecking and steals the puck, but then couldn't get it in front. Lindholm will get it out into the center ice area, and Marchand sends it down into the Toronto zone. Quickly played along now by Walden. Riley, and Riley points back to his goaltender saying, good read on that and good communication. Bertuzzi works the boards on the far side. Tavares trying to help out. Puck comes to the captain, and then Marner, who got the puck on his stick, couldn't get a shot away nor make a pass. It rolls down towards Wall. He clears it back into the area back of the net. DeBrusk battles with Marner. And Marner can't get it away there from Pavel Zacha. Comes in front of the shot, and that whistled wide off the stick of Charlie McAvoy. Leafs get it out at center. Off the stick of Tavares to the line. Rolls it into the left wing corner. McCabe had thoughts of jumping into the rush, then thinks better of it and heads to the bench. Benoit rips it right back down into Boston territory. Bruins onto the puck in the far corner. Can't get it out. At the point, kept in by Timmins. Shot deflected just wide. Rebound into the near corner. Cycled along there by Marner. Couldn't get it into the corner cleanly for Camp. And now it's back along the boards, and Noah Gregor goes after it. And at the point, a shot kicked away there as a rebound goes to Riley. Riley's around back of the net trying to just chip it in front, couldn't. Now comes out in front with a backhand, and the Bruins, under emergency measures, are able to get it and get it down into the Leaf end. Oh, that icing was
different linesman.
Yeah, see, different end of the rink.
You know you're in a hockey market when fans are booing about icings.
Yes, you do. Played off the boards by Boston in the center ice area. Coyle gets it into the right wing corner. A shot towards the front. Good hustle there. In the center ice area. Coyle gets it into the right wing corner. A shot towards the front. Good hustle there to get back and take his man was Matthew Nyes. Played around back of the net. Coyle got it into the slot area, stolen back by Nylander. Nylander cuts through his goal crease and starts up ice. Nylander to center, flipping it into the left wing corner. Nyes won't get there to keep it in, and it's down into the Toronto end. And I think An icing call coming here. And it's down into the Toronto end. And I think an icing call coming here.
A big round of applause from the crowd.
Domi from Robertson and Yarncrook at 2:12 has tied this game at 2s.
Well, I'm going to stick by that. If you want to be a hockey market, two things have to happen. Your sixth defenseman has to be booed, and you got to boo icing calls.
Oh, is that it? That's all?
Oh, yeah.
That's all you need?
Anyone can cheer when you score.
Someone should write a book about that.
Or maybe I should read one.
Well, stop coloring them and read them, yes. Here are the Bruins in over the line. Well, stop coloring them and read them, yes. Here are the Bruins in over the line. Played around back of the net. Knocked off stride there was Marchand. He continues to hack, whack, and slash in there. He's among the best at it. Into the far corner, the hack, whacking, and slashing continues. Marchand finally gets it back to the point, a long shot. That went just wide of the Leaf goal. McAvoy trying to play it into the corner. Puck is still free. Boy, the stick work that is going on in the corners here is unbelievable. Now at the point, shot by Pasternak was kicked away by Wall. Centering effort, Wall stopped that. Can't get to it, and then gloves it, throws this effort, Wall stopped that. Can't get to it, and then gloves it, throws this. Actually, it was a great play. Threw the stick aside, grabbed the puck with his blocking glove, and we get some shoving in the corner now. But Wall made a rather dexterous.
Yeah, well, it was a Dominic Hasek move, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to drop the stick and use my blocker to pick it up outside the post, and Wall was able to do it.
It is a 2-2 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Unhibernate, verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. All winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I am going to unhibernate by visiting my local Subaru dealer for a holiday bonus. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs 2, the Boston Bruins 2. Boy, you could have sat down this afternoon and kind of mapped this out, couldn't you? Yeah. You think it's going to be high scoring? I don't think so.
Well, the Bruins, like we said, uncharacteristically had some rather high-scoring games. Gave up 23 goals in a 5-goal span before the 3-0 win against San Jose.
Draw to the right of Wall in the Toronto zone. Scrummed into the corner. Brody punches it free. Marner gets it ahead. Bertuzzi cutting across the middle. Backhand deep into Boston territory. Then gets to it, but couldn't get it away from McAvoy cleanly, and the Bruins have punched it out. DeBrusque in with a shot, cleared into the corner by the stick of Wall. Tavares starts back up ice for Toronto. Skating room to his liking as he hits the line. Missed a hit to get to the puck in the corner, then was knocked down with a hit. Bertuzzi kicks it free. Here, coming out from a sharp angle was Tavares, and it went just wide. Lagesson keeping it in. Bertuzzi's had a strong game, I thought, in this one, too.
Yeah, he's won a lot of battles, hasn't he?
Sure has. Play to the left wing side, Lagesson. Round back of the net, there's Bertuzzi again. Couldn't get it in front. Works into the corner after it. Good play there made by Matthews to intercept. Kept alive at the blue line. Leafs send it high, though, off a stick. It'll go into the screen with a face-off coming in Boston territory. 7:50 left to play in the third period. The Leafs 2, Matthews and Domi. The Bruins 2, Pasternak and Shattenkirk.
Things are starting to get a little closer in the face-off department. The Leafs won 57%, but Austin Matthews, who is out taking this draw, is an even .500. He's won 4 of 8 draws taken so far.
Matthews against Charlie Coyle. And the Bruins win the face-off, but Matthews cuts off the pass. But the Bruins are able to launch it out at center, and Dan Heinen sends it into the Toronto end. Back of the net, a pass up for Matthew Nyes. Nyes, a long pass for Nylander. Batted away with back of the net, a pass up for Matthew Nyes. Nyes, a long pass for Nylander. Batted away with a glove by Boston, and that will stop play. And a face-off will come in Bruins territory, I believe. Or are they going to say it was outside the blue line?
Yeah,
I guess where it was received, I guess. Couldn't that be where it was initiated?
No, it's where the glove pass occurred.
Yeah, but was it not in the Boston end?
No, just outside the Boston line.
Don't argue with me.
I just think officials have a tough job, Joe, and it's the world's fastest game. I'd like to say hello to the guys at work. I'd like to say hello to the guys at work.
What shift do you want this week?
My family.
A shooting by the Leafs ends up going into the screen, and now it'll be faced off at the center ice dot. All right.
Very similar to the last game these two teams played, where the Bruins built a 2-0 lead in the second period. In Boston, it was Matthews and Marner a little over a minute apart to tie it. Scoreless third, send it to an eventual shootout that the Bruins won. The Leafs down 2-0 in this game. This time Matthews and Domi respond to have this tied. 7:24 to go in the third.
Bruins launch it down into the Toronto.
24 to go in the third.
Bruins launch it down into the Toronto zone. Wall will leave it back of the net for Connor Timmins. And Timmins starts out with a pass off Benoit's stick to center. He follows up on it. Got it across the line. Robertson works to the right wing side. Pulls up. Back to the point. Fanning on it completely was Timmins as it comes out into the center ice area. Benoit shot it back in. Bruins come back on the attack. Dropping it back into the slot, and a shot. Scores! Joseph Wall, I think, thought he caught this. He thought it was in his thing, thought he caught this. He thought it was in his glove. And when he brings the glove down, the puck squirted out of it.
That might have hit Trent Frederick first. And the Leafs caught in a bit of a sloppy line change. That gave the Bruins room to get into the zone.
Referee goes for a sprawl. Leafs against the boards, get it down into the corner. Nylander couldn't make a play. Matthews swings the puck around to the far point. Timmins traps it there, near side for McCabe. The shot deflects, and it is launched high out and down into the Toronto zone by Boston. Errant pass for Matthews didn't work. Bruins back in over the line. Long shot blockered away nicely by Wall. 5.5 minutes to go. The Leafs need another one. They're down a goal. McCabe deflects off down into the Boston end. Chipped along by Shattenkirk. Leafs come away with the loose puck and try to work in front of the net. Domi couldn't bring it with him. Puck along the boards, far side. Domi comes out with it, back to the blue line. Benoit holds, sends it towards the net, but it was off a stick high over top of the goal. Lagesson keeping it in. Benoit gets a second try. That time it reached the net, but it went off a defenseman wide of the goal. Yarncrook couldn't keep it in. Bruins have bounced it down into the Leaf end. Timmins for Benoit. Forward complement is changing. Played ahead down into Boston territory. Icing waved off. Tavares is into the corner but can't come up with the puck. Leafs were changing their defense. No one there to keep it in. And Riley has to go back in center ice. Marner takes his pass. No one there to keep it in. And Riley has to go back in center ice. Marner takes his pass. Back it goes to Riley. Off the official skate. Riley with a pass in front of the net. Down is Omark. And it is covered up on before Tavares could get there to maybe pry it free. 4:18 to play. Leafs trailing 3-2 to the Boston Bruins. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, the Maple Leafs Radio Network. 2 to the Boston Bruins. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey everyone, it's your friend John Mayer here. Genres aren't rock or pop or hip-hop. They're real genres of life. They're like Mondays, dinner with family, songs I remember from junior high. And that's what you're going to get on Life with John Mayer. It's my music, it's everyone else's music. It's singing in the shower and a quiet night at home. Come along with me as I play music that fits the moments of your life as they happen. On now, Channel 14, and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
My boy Brady Tkachuk fired up, said what he wanted to say. I love when a captain comes out like that and sticks up for his... My boy Brady Tkachuk fired up, said what he wanted to say. I love when a captain comes out like that and sticks up for his team. Listen, the fans of Ottawa, they paid their hard-earned money to get in there. I guess if they want to boo, they can boo. I love Brady sticking up for his guys. But Brady Tkachuk, good for you. Say how you feel. Plays hard on and off the ice. Cooley, I love that kid.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
George McPhee on the Vegas Golden Knights. Give us a sense as to what you and Kelly were thinking in terms of this season's roster.
The team overall is in pretty darn good shape. It's sort of in our prime. This team wants to be some kind of legacy team where you can win a couple of the prime. This team wants to be some kind of legacy team where you can win a couple of Stanley Cup. That's the challenge that you present to the players.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM
Radio Network.
Face-off coming in the Boston zone. 4:18 left in the third period. Too early for Sheldon Keefe to go with 6 attackers. For Sheldon Keefe to go with 6 attackers. The Tavares line out there, and Tavares wins the face-off. Marner got a shot away, but it was blocked by one of the defenders before it reached Ullmark. All the way back into Toronto territory. Brought on by Morgan Riley. His pass went off his stick. Riley can't come up with it. Pasternak back the other way. Pasternak with his head up, sends it towards the net. Knocked away by Wall. Leaves control. Marner spinning. Plays it on the boards to Brody. Brody thought about giving it to Riley, then circled back in his own end. And now we'll play it up ahead for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi. Riley then circled back in his own end. And now we'll play it up ahead for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi one hands it to the far side. He and Nylander collide in the center ice area. Tavares heading to the bench, gets it to Morgan Riley, and he's going to shoot it in. Matthews line over the boards for the Maple Leafs. McCabe got a shot, but it went harmlessly wide of the goal. Pushed to the blue line by Boston to get it out. And now McAvoy turns back in his own zone. Bruins play it off the boards, and not getting to it was Danton Heinen, but it's not far enough for icing. Connor Timmins turns with 3:04 left, keeping an eye on Joseph Woll. Pass to the far side to Timmins. Drop back for McCabe. McCabe comes to the red line, and in it goes. Woll stays in the net. Bruins trap on the far boards to play it to the line. That was offside. Just offside. As the Leaf player coming off the bench got to the puck. But a face-off out in neutral ice. 2:44 to go, and I think thoughts of the coaching staff have been relayed to Woll, courtesy Matthew Nye.
And interesting combination. And Sheldon Keefe, I think, getting ready for that final push in the last minute and a half or so. He's got Domi out with Robertson, and I believe that Yarncroc on the other side?
No, it's
Noah Gregor.
Noah Gregor, yep. Bruins win the face-off. Leafs get it, shoot it right back in again. Olmark had thoughts of maybe making a pass, but gave it to his defenseman, who get it up ahead. Pasternak sends it down to the Boston blue line. Played ahead to Robertson. Dropped back into the Toronto zone. Off a stick of Gregor in, and on come a change of players for Toronto. Bruins up against the boards, get it out. Goaltender still in the net just as well. The puck is in center ice. Matthews can't get it in deep. Bouncing puck that Domi couldn't reach. And now the Bruins right back again, flipping it towards the net, wide of the Leaf goal. 2 minutes left to go in the third. Certainly a rush here will bring goaltender Woll to the bench. Here's Morgan Riley getting to center and shooting it in, and there he goes. 6 attackers on for Toronto. Fed along the boards and around the back of the goal by Matthews. Riley tries to pinch to keep it in. Tavares supporting and backing it up. The puck now for Matthews around on the far side to Willie. Nylander sends it back from whence it came. Matthews trying to steal. Tavares tried to get it in front. It goes to Morgan Riley. Riley down the left wing boards, back of the net. Marner coming out with a pass in front for Willie, and he shot it off a body, and it's deflected to center ice.
I believe the front of the net.
No, and a rolling puck on edge. Made a left-hand turn and went wide of the goal.
Last chance by Willie Nylander from the high slot. No lead within 10 feet of the front of the goal.
Backhanded into Boston territory. Matthews in pursuit. It's rattled around the boards, but not out. Leafs keep it in. Puck in the corner. Tavares couldn't center. Less than a minute to go. Tavares into the far corner. Trying to jam it out in front. Can't. Yarncroc couldn't get it. Launched high and down the ice by Boston. This will go icing. 44.4 seconds. I would be surprised if a timeout is not called here. This will go icing. 44.4 seconds. I would be surprised if a timeout is not called here.
You not agree, though, that the Leafs, I mean, you got the goalie on the bench, nobody in front of the net.
Got to have someone there. Just
I mean, I realize you want puck position, but like Willie Nylander's shot, you got 4 Bruin jerseys in front of Allmark and not one Leaf in between them.
Timeout has indeed been called.
That's why you always like, I mean, you see late in the game. Remember, Zdeno Chara, they'd go and stick in front of the opposing team's net, whether it was on the power play or late in the game, just to provide. Remember, Zdeno Chara, they'd go and stick in front of the opposing team's net, whether it was on the power play or late in the game, just to provide the screen and look for the garbage.
And he scored a lot of the goals that he did score in the National Hockey League doing just that. Wraparound attempt by Matthews didn't work. So 44.4 seconds remain. And the Leafs have sent out Tavares, Matthews, Nylander, Marner, Yarncrook, and Morgan. Yarncrook and Morgan Riley. And Yarncrook and Nylander are at the points. Riley in the slot. This is a new configuration. And the face-off didn't go the right way. They'll do it again. Last time with Matthews in there. He wins the draw. Riley couldn't get a shot as it comes back to the point. Willie walking the line to Yarncrook on the far side, back to Nylander. Nylander shot in traffic. Omark down. And he was kind of looking around there. He wasn't too sure where it was. And Pasternak now gets into it with one of the Leafs. Not sure who that was. Was it Tavares? Or Yarncrook?
Well, David Pasternak might be.
Not sure who that was. Was it Tavares? Or Yarncrook?
Well, David Pasternak might be able to talk the officials into calling something here. He's went late to the ref.
34.1 seconds remain.
The last shot by Nylander was just get it to the net and hopefully something good happens. And like you said, Allmark stops it. But there was that quick glance over his shoulder to see if perhaps it had popped out. Mitch Marner, by the way, finally at least get a guy in front looking for the deflection.
The draw in the circle to the left of the Boston goalkeeper. The draw in the circle to the left of the Boston goalkeeper. Tavares will take the draw. No one will be in the least bit upset if the Leafs don't win in regulation time tonight. That is if they score the tying goal here. Back to the point, won by Toronto. Yarncrook around back of the goal to the near side for Riley. Riley is tied up. It's shot to the line. Great play by Willie to keep it in. Yarncrook down low. Matthews centers. No one there to tip it. The puck has come all the way out at center ice. One last foray. Cross the line. Into the way out at center ice. One last foray. Cross the line. Into the corner for Domi. It comes out in front, down into the goal crease area. Marner, far side, scores! With 4.8 seconds left, Austin Matthews ties the game. Holy Mackinac!
It looked like they had their greatest chance moments earlier. The Bruins were able to clear the zone, and the Leafs stormed right back in. John Tavares took it to the net, got knocked down, but took three Bruins with him. And the puck bounced out to the high slot onto the stick of Mitch Marner. And Marner, instead of trying to deliver it to the net, sees old pal and line mate Austin Matthews wide open in the right wing circle. And you give Matthews credit. He backed up to give Marner a target to hit. And when Matthews got it on his stick, he snapped it into the empty net. Is this going to be looked at for offside? Well, this would be the only thing, unless they're going to claim that maybe John Tavares.
No, it is the officials, not the linesmen, who are looking at this. Okay. So it's got to be something different.
It's got to be John Tavares going to the net as goaltender interference. Every play in the last couple of minutes is going to be reviewed. There's no question Tavares makes contact, but was he pushed? And we're getting on the
league initiated challenge for goalie interference. The goal's going to stand.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it was Lindholm that got a pretty good chunk of John Tavares. And I also think Allmark, I don't think there was that much contact, Joe, that he wouldn't have been allowed to collect himself and get over. And Austin Matthews, though, with his second goal of the night, 16th of the season, has the Leafs tied with 4.8 seconds to go here in the third period.
Correction, 5.7 seconds.
That's what I said. It's like the shots on goal go. I just saw it. Remember the shots on goal kept going. It looked like the stock market was plummeting.
Played into the Toronto zone, and as I said, no one will be upset that the Leafs didn't win in regulation time if they pull this out of the fire. Well,
and Joe Wall, by the way, is a perfect 6-0 when it comes to...
They pull this out of the fire. Well,
and Joe Wall, by the way, is a perfect 6-0 when it comes to shootouts and overtime.
We will send it back. We're coming back with the overtime. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan on the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master plan community with bike trails, parks and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com. It all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like solivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer for a holiday bonus. And welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Holy Becca! 3 goals! He's tied the game!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Holy Becca! 3 goals! He's tied the game!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
For the second time this season, the Leafs and the Bruins need extra time to try to decide this one. Charlie Coyle was the only goal scorer in the scored the winning goal. DeBrusque, and he scored on the shootout. Nylander and Matthews did not, to decide the game by a 3-2 count back on November the 2nd.
And the Leafs, back-to-back games against Boston, have overcome 2-goal deficits, which isn't easy when you've got a team as back-to-back games against Boston have overcome 2-goal deficits, which isn't easy when you've got a team as strong defensively as the Bruins. But we shall see if Joe Wall can continue to be perfect in extra time. 6-0 on the year. Joseph Wall. Ilya Samsonov is 1-3. The only win Samsonov had was the first game of the season here against Montreal.
David Kampf, Marner, and McCabe start this overtime. The Bruins win the face-off, and it is McAvoy bringing it back into his own zone. Turning up ice with it is Pavel Zacha, so Pasternak is out there as well. Here's a drop pass for Pasternak, who winds up in the neutral zone. Here's a drop pass for Pasternak, who winds up in the neutral zone. With speed, hits the Toronto blue line, mishandled the puck. Marner couldn't get to him. Pasternak allowed to come right out in front, and Wall makes the save. McAvoy was there fishing into the glove of Wall to try and pop the puck free, but to no avail.
Boy, a little miscommunication there between David Kampf and Mitch Marner. Marner let Pasternak go, and I think thought that he was going to hand him off to Kampf, who had gone to the front of the net, and then provided Pasternak with a lane.
Tavares comes over the boards to take the face-off here. Marner remains out there. Tavares comes over the boards to take the face-off here. Marner remains out there, and Morgan Riley has joined him. But the draw won by Boston. Bruins walk the line with it. McAvoy now decides to take it back into neutral ice. Pasternak takes the drop pass. With speed, he hits the blue line. Got wide on Tavares, and the shot that was taken deflects off the stick of Morgan Riley and caroms up into the screen.
This is the earliest we've seen John Tavares in overtime in a while.
And that was really for the face-off, right in the defensive zone. He's staying out there to take this as well.
A lot of times we've usually seen Nylander and Järnkrok Matthews and Marner as the combinations to start.
Marner remains out there and has been out for the entire overtime. And again, the Bruins win the draw, and a shot down his wall. He smothers that off the stick of Hampus Lindholm.
Boy, at least lost that one clean.
There really isn't a plan B, is there?
No.
There's no Ryan O'Reilly around. Now they are going to try Matthews at it as Tavares goes to the bench along with Marner.
Well, Tavares has won 13 of 17 on the night, so...
Matthews directing McCabe where he wants him to go. And the draw won by Matthews, and McCabe plays it along the boards, and now Willie's streaking, but Matthews circles back in his own zone. Now he's coming through the right wing side. Into the zone, it looks a pass on the left wing side, and it would bounced over the stick of McCabe, and the Bruins have it. Back for Marchand. Marchand down the left wing. Marchand poking in with a backhand. Whoa! Stop that. Matthews turns, looking for Willie, but doesn't make the pass. Now he'll start out. Matthews to center. Slowly to the line. Feathered in for Riley. Back of the net, Matthews. Looking in front, still with it. Matthews being mirrored. Finds Nylander, who brings it out at center. Now Willie. Cross the line. Nylander in with a shot. That was off the mark wide. Nylander trying to play it in front of the net. Morgan Riley ran out of real estate. Couldn't get a shot. Riley comes out. Pass in front for Marner. Oh, and Ullmark knocked it away from him. Now the Bruins have a breakaway. Game on their stick and a shot. Stopped by Wall. Covered up by Wall. Stolen back by the Bruins. Riley steals it back himself. Passes ahead for Nylander. He's got a breakaway. Shoots. Stopped by Ullmark, and he's going to cover it up. Bruins come back the other way. What an overtime. Pass to Pasternak. Shooting. Wall makes the save, and he's going to hang on. Oh, my. And he's going to hang on. Oh, my.
If you were out playing ball hockey, you'd be saying this would never happen in the NHL. You'd be saying this would never happen in the NHL. End to end as Willie Nylander did a great job. I mean, he took off early, but it took the Leafs a while to get him the puck. And when he did, he was stoned by Ullmark. Ullmark then flips the puck to a defenseman, and here's a breakaway back the other way where Joseph Woll has to be perfect. Pavel Zacha with the breakaway and then the follow-up and the rebound. Way back the other way where Joseph Woll has to be perfect. Pavel Zacha with the breakaway and then the follow-up and the rebound. Woll was able to keep out.
We're not even halfway through the overtime. 2:43 left. Matthews scrums the draw. Lost the handle on it. Grabbed off by Grzelcyk. Grzelcyk's going to carry back into the center ice area for DeBrusk. DeBrusk hits the line. DeBrusk works to the left wing side, then brings it back out into neutral ice. Matthews is out mirroring him. DeBrusk starts back at center. The crowd is into it. DeBrusk goes wide around back of the net. Centers into the slot. Shot by Grzelcyk is stopped as a rebound underneath Wall. Hangs on.
I don't know if Wall knew where it was, but 5,000 people right behind the net.
They saw it.
They saw it. And there's a little bit of panic. Yeah, this bounced out, and it was a TJ Brody tucked it back into his goaltender.
Face off in the circle to the left of Joseph Woll. And the Bruin gets waved out of the face-off circle this time. John Tavares will take the draw against Marchand. And the draw scrummed to the far boards. Marchand gets it back to the point. Gets a return pass. And now McCabe has broken his stick. Jam play at the goal is blocked. Nylander with the loose puck. He's got to realize that his teammate doesn't have a cue. He circles back behind the net. Now flips the puck out at center, and he finds Tavares. Tavares in over the line. Tavares into the slot, a shot. And that was off the blocking glove of Ullmark. Leafs play to an open wing and no one here. Bruins have it now back in their own zone. Hampus Lindholm coming slowly to center. Marchand goes to the bench. Brought forward by Pavel Zacha. Then Pasternak decides to bring it back. Here's McAvoy hitting the line. Had it knocked out of his stick by Matthews, and the Leafs now counter. Up ahead for Morgan Rielly. Rielly turns. Leafs want to make a change. Rielly sends it back to Matthews. Matthews mirrored by Pasternak. Given to Marner. Dish back to Matthews with speed. Down the right side. Works in all to the line. Stops up. Holds. Gives to Marner. Marner coming to the front of the net. Backhand try. Ullmark down. What a save he makes. Puck is still free apparently. And now it's whistled down.
Boy, the referee was right there. And Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews were doing all they could to try to get to the loose puck. Give Pasternak credit there as he held Matthews off. We got a couple of chances now at both ends where it looked like the goaltender had frozen it, but it had popped loose.
We are 47.8 seconds away from our third consecutive shootout decision.
I'm going to ask you this. Would you prefer another 5 minutes of this?
I like it.
I'm with you.
Face off to the right of Ullmark. Draw one by the Leafs. Back to the point, a shot taken by McCabe. Ullmark got across nicely and squared up.
That is shot number 40 on the night for the Leafs. Bruins are at 35. And both goaltenders have had some brilliant moments here in overtime.
Tavares, Nylander, McCabe for Toronto. Zacha taking the draw in the skates. They get it free, but it's in the corner. Fought for back of the net. Tavares couldn't get to his man, and now here's Coyle coming to center with a pass to Zacha. Back to Coyle, 2-on-1 break, but it bounced over the stick of Coyle. Leafs get it around back of their own goal. 27 seconds left. Tavares to McCabe. McCabe for Tavares. Drop for Willie. Nylander coming to center. He takes a bit of a point. He was slid into, and this has caused a breakaway at the other end. Backhand shot stopped by Wall. Another shot stopped by Wall, but they score.
On NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Brian Burke.
But now it's a big story. Headline, Johnny Gaudreau bench. But he's not playing that well. His stats are terrible, and he's not playing that well. They sat him out. Now, he had the right response. He said, I got to play better. And that's all it is. Same thing here. You're playing poorly, you get benched. Shut up and work harder.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 Hockey Talk.
My boy Brady Tkachuk fired up, said what he wanted to say. I love when a captain comes out like that and sticks up for his team. Listen, the fans of Ottawa, they paid their hard-earned money to get in there. I guess if they want to boo, they can boo. I love Brady sticking up for his guys. But Brady Tkachuk, good for you. Say how you feel. Plays hard on and off the ice. Cooley, I love that kid.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
George McPhee on the Vegas Golden Knights. Give us a sense as to what you and Kelly were thinking in terms of this season's roster.
The team overall is in pretty darn good shape. It's sort of in our prime. This team wants to be some kind of legacy team where you can win a couple of Stanley Cup. That's the challenge that you present to the players.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
The Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert with you for a few minutes before we send it to Leafs Talk. And, God, that was almost everything you wanted in a Leafs game right there. You push for OT, last-second heroics. The most entertaining overtime that I've seen all season long. I don't know why they're saying they want to change it, because I could have watched that for 20 minutes.
Yeah, anyone who's banging on the doors at the NHL offices in New York asking to change overtime,
never.
Well, don't show that one
That was
to the people
amazing.
that matter the most. It was really, really fun overtime. It was sloppy a little bit.
That's kind of the beauty of it.
Predominantly from the Maple Leaf side, and maybe that's what led to Brad Marchand's overtime winner. But, like, if this was a movie, that was one for the villain, you know? Like, that was a great game, exhilarating, great ending to regulation.